We are live for another great edition of the Chef and the Fox and friends to join us. It is a beautiful, beautiful day today. We had some early soccer action. So far in the Discord free plays, we're 1-1. Tottenham scored that late goal to kill our under. But other than that, we feel like it's going to be a great day. Definitely need to brush off yesterday's debacle. But everything that's there, Sean Shockey will be joining me a little bit sooner, maybe lock a little later, discuss some NHL action. We'll have some XFL breakdowns, some things like that there. Thanks everybody for joining the show. Welcome, Geraldo. Welcome. We'll get some things up. Welcome, MT13. Glad to have you guys on the show. That early Tottenham goal just kind of killed us. You kind of saw that it was happening. They were definitely on the front foot. That's why when they scored too early, most people know I basically immediately said, we're in trouble. That goal came way too early. The good news is Gladbach, if you followed me, I'm so high. I love this Gladbach team. I'll be on them most weeks when they have good, favorable matchups. We're on them today. We're up 1-0 early. The free Discord play is the over 3, so we're definitely looking very nicely. I will let you know the premium play is Gladbach -1. So that's looking very nicely. So it's definitely, hopefully, a good start to the day. Welcome, Aaron. Should be some good day today. We're going to break down some XFL a little bit there. The guys in the Discord have been killing it. Right now, I think there's a couple games today that's really going to turn the tide of who's who in this league. But other than that, it's been a great way just to like pad your bankroll, things like that. I mean, I wouldn't go too crazy on it. NBA was an absolute kill yesterday. If you looked at my early looks, my breakdowns, I got to sit there and say, except for the Denver game and the Indiana over. But thank you, Astute Chaos. I followed your first half under to make that over. I thought we'd probably be right around 104, 106, which would still put me in line for the over. And when you gave me a 108 first half for the Knicks, I said, bing, I'm going to jump all over that. But the late games were pretty much a snooze fest. The only question was Memphis actually going to stay inside the number? Towards the end of the game, they fell apart, did not stay within the number. A couple things that I'm on this morning, just getting off because we do have some 10 o'clock games that are about to kick off. Apologize, I didn't get the ticker. I'm on West Brom money line English Championship. Personally, I'm also on the over 2.5 as well. That's going to kick off here in 5-10 minutes. On the Premier games, I'm on Sheffield United. We're on Newcastle draw double chance. Newcastle's like 15 of 17 versus them, so I feel that the game's probably going to end up in a draw, and that little half goal is going to give me the win. So that's what I'm looking at. 11:30, we're on Marseille money line. We've already talked about we're on Hoffenheim. I love this Hitafi team. The Hitafi team's giving you plus money right now. It's going to be a tough contest, but I definitely feel the values on there. Couple big parlay plays that I put in there. Anyone still on, they're on way later. We're on City, Juve, and Real. Throw Lazio in there for a Sunday play. That's a plus 400. Couple player doubles that I'm on. I already told people I was on Holland 2 goals for plus 300. Asaka for 1 goal for plus 300. I'm on Marcus Thuram for 1 goal for plus 120. One of these really sneaky plays I like is this Frank Chiesa play from Fiorentina. He's been on fire. And right now they're giving you plus 200 for 1 goal, anytime goal. I'm definitely going to be on that. Welcome, Sean. I just want to know, did we get confirmation that Ian McKellen now has SH his right cheek or his left cheek?
I don't know yet. He hasn't gotten back to me yet in the in my DM on.
Yeah, I thought did you reach out to him and do what I asked you to do?
Yeah, I reached out to him this morning. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm sure he'll get back to me in a little bit.
We'll see. He's a good guy. For those who don't know, there's a show called Guys and Bets from Odd Shark. I'll tweet him out for there. Definitely a good show to listen to the day. It's a half hour, 2 days a week, and then it's like 10 minutes, 3 days a week, right around noon, 1 o'clock. It kind of comes on some different times. But if you follow them, Odd Shark on Twitter, that'll give you the notification. It's a quick little show. It's pretty good. It's about 5 picks a day. definitely good market. Different, all kinds of sports are talked about there. So Sean was on there talking about college basketball play, and the behind the scenes guy was like, "I'm on the other side," and Sean goes, "Okay," and they kind of go back and forth in the chat a couple times, and then the show host Joe Osborne sees it and he's like, "All right, what's the stakes here? And how about we go tattoo name on the ass?" So Sean's play had +7.5. His team lost by what, 1?
By 1, yeah.
Yeah, so they lost by 1. They easily cover that. So we all tweeted out to Ian McKellen. Make sure if you already have that, tweet out and say, "I want to see the tattoo on your ass," or tweet out the Chef and the Fox. So that's the play. It's a good play, good money cashed on that. So other than that, all right. So let's begin the day. We've got games going on. We've got somebody being carted off in Hoffenheim. I love like when they get taken off in like stretchers, like they've just served war. All right.
I have the over 2.5 in that. Do I have a chance with that?
In which one? The Gladbach game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave the over 3. So
okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's where I got it from. Okay. I got an over of 2.5 in Werder Bremen and Dortmund. Is that a bad bet or was that a good bet?
I would take an over 4.5 in that game.
Oh, really? Okay. It's like 22 minutes at 0-0, but that's like that thing can break open at any point.
I think you're going to see goals in this game. Werder Bremen's very leaky on the back. Dortmund's kind of the same. I definitely think. Yellow, is it down to over 2.5? At the 23 mark. The one thing I didn't actually look on that game is who the actual lineup was. Right. I know Holland's playing, and Holland's been absolutely on fire. I think the one thing that they gave you 2 shots and goal and 1 goal is an absolute free money, especially the way he's been scoring. I think that's a really, really good look. Let me just make sure who's in the lineup. I know there was a lot of things with Mario Götze was going to possibly play. I'm not a Mario Götze fan. When he was 19,
isn't he old?
He's old. Remember, he scored the German goal. Was that to win versus Argentina, the World Cup? And then everyone's like, "Oh, it's probably gonna be big things for him." And I was like, "No, he's a slow little guy." Claudio Reyna is slowly taking his place. Not Claudio Reyna, Giovanni Reyna has already taken his place. He's actually playing really great, so he looks great for U.S. soccer. That's 2 goals in 8 games, but he's only 17, so that's actually phenomenal. I like their lineup. I definitely see goals on the horizon. I like Haaland to score. I like Hazard to score. And I like Asaka. I already gave you that. I think for Werder Bremen, we'll at least get on the scoreboard. So FC Köln already has 2 goals to start the game. Bologna has basically 15 guys out, so I'm not really shocked that they're losing. When you look at their missing players, it's almost an entire roster. There you've got, I believe, 9 guys out. So the fact they're losing is not surprising, but I don't trust the Udinese team to put any money on them. So that was definitely a pass for me. We've talked about before, Hashtag Split. If you ever want to add things, I had a lot of people talking about this Wolfsburger game because some guy on Twitter gave out Wolfsburger -1. Wolfsburger is a very, very good team in the Australian Tipico Bundesliga, but this Tyrol team, which isn't dead last, they sometimes kind of play him close to the vest, but Wolfsburger -1 definitely has value. I don't have any issue with someone who wants to get on that at 11 o'clock. That's in Austria, if you're wondering. I'm on personally QPR over 2.5. I know that's going to be shocking to people. They're playing Nottingham.
I didn't see that one. I should have taken that. I love QPR. They always score a lot of goals in that.
Yeah, we got 1 more minute on that. You can get on that live. I'm not touching Preston versus Hull. That's traditionally not a great game. That was there, but those essentially are the looks that I'm on right now. We'll talk some college basketball.
I'm on Burnley personal.
No, Yella. Sorry, I was dealing with some other stuff at home. Can you tweet that out for me? Yeah, Twatty's yelling at me. Did you send me the link? Yes, in the CI chat. All right, so let's go over some. I will gotta go over I did post the plays a little late in the Discord. I will tell you, it's the first show we've ever had where we had a losing record. We were only 7-10 last week. Shocks was 2-2. I had you there. Twatty was 0-1, and that wasn't even close. We were 1-1 live. We basically lost the win till halftime on the PSG, and then we won the over 5.5 on that. So I will post it out, but we were 7-10. I'll put the icons in, so if anyone wants to look at there. Let's move on to college basketball. We kind of hit some of the early games right now. We've got the 10 o'clock. We'll have plenty of time to talk soccer. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're almost in the conference championships. I really have a surgery coming up, but I scheduled that completely wrong. Had I just scheduled that 1 week away, I basically would have been home all through basically the entire tournament.
That would have been awesome.
I can kind of kick myself for that. So
I'm taking 2 days off of work to just watch Thursday and Friday games. I'm just gonna go to the bar and just sit there and bet and drink.
Yeah. I'm automatically off from the 6th to the 19th, so I can watch all the conference games, and I'll watch the first day of action. And then on the 20th, I'll be working from home anyway. So I'll catch the first Thursday and Friday. And depending upon what the doctor says on the 20th, whether or not I can return to work. So we'll see. But other than that, let's move on to some college basketball. I will tell you right now, until Twatty comes on, I'm not talking baseball. I know you guys were actually betting minor league baseball yesterday. That cracked me up. I'm watching everybody out there going, because I was like, why is my phone going off and getting all the notifications on Discord? I looked and I was like,
it's the baseball channel.
We're talking about the Twins. Come on. We've got time here. We've got a full month before we get into it. So right now they're still trying to figure out how they're going to go tackle the Astros after they told them, no, you're not going to serve any penalty. Oh, but everybody else wants you to serve a penalty. So we're now going to give you a penalty. All right. So let's move on to college basketball. We got today. What do you want, Sean Shockey? Thrill us with your knowledge. What do you got?
So, yeah, I mean, I go over with what I'm on, and then we could talk about the big game that's at 12 o'clock, which I don't know why they even scheduled this at 12. It should be I feel like it should be a primetime game. But that I have today is there's at 12 o'clock, there's Marquette at Providence. Providence comes into this with a half-game lead in the Big East standings over Marquette. And it's a revenge game for Marquette because the first time when they played, Marquette lost that game in overtime by 1 point. It was like 81-80, I think. And this is a must-win game for Marquette since they've lost 2 already. They haven't lost 3 in a row all season. So, although Providence has played well in their past 2 games, they overall, if you look at their season, they're inconsistent. So I like Marquette to get the revenge here on the road in Providence, and I think the line's at +1.5. So, Marquette 1.5.
Marquette -1.5. Is everybody back? Is everybody back from Marquette?
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
So you're a Marquette +1.5. Okay, I can deal with that. All right. What else we got?
I was looking at the Duquesne at Dayton game. So this is right now a 14. I think it's 14.5. Let me see. It's 14 right now. I like Duquesne here at 14. I haven't bet really on Dayton all year or any games that they've been in. And the last time they played Duquesne, Duquesne was a 9-point home dog, and Dayton didn't cover that game. I think they ended up winning by like 3 or 4 points. Now Duquesne's on the road. They're a 14-point dog, which is kind of basically the same line because like if you're 9 at home, that means like on neutral court, you're probably around like 11 or 12. So then on the road, you're probably like another 3 points. So like 13 or 14 points. So you could tell that the value in the market hasn't changed for these 2 teams. And going back to like when they played, Duquesne was down and they had like a second half surge in that game. I remember. And I think they almost, Dayton won by 4 points, so Duquesne almost came from behind and won the whole game outright. So I guess this one just really comes down to the free throw line. Dayton gets to a lot of their wins, if you watch Dayton, or a lot of the points, the reason why they cover is because they get to the free throw line a lot. And Dayton, not Dayton, and Duquesne has been giving up the second lowest free throw rate in conference. So I don't think Dayton's going to be able to get to their strength, which they have in the other games, which is the free throw line, like the first time when they faced Duquesne. So I like Duquesne to cover the 14 points here.
All right, so we got Duquesne plus 14 points. I mean, I've been on Duquesne a lot. I definitely like that team. All right. What else we got? Anything else?
The other one is Michigan at Purdue. I like Purdue here. I think they're
is Purdue at home or on the road?
Purdue's at home.
Okay.
I got them. Oh, wow, this line's jumping. Okay, so I got them at -3 this morning, but it's 3.5 now. I actually wouldn't touch that at 3.5. I would probably side more with Michigan. But the reason why I like Purdue to win at home is because, like, if you go back to the first time that they played, Michigan was without Isaiah Livers. And the only reason why Michigan won that game without Isaiah Livers was that they covered it in double overtime. And I think back then the line was like 4 or 5. It was Michigan by 4 or 5. So on a neutral court, that kind of makes that like 2.5, which is why I like Purdue here. When I saw the 3, I took it. I would have preferred if it was like 2.5 or 2, but I still took the 3. I still think the line was like a little inflated because Michigan's been red hot with Isaiah Livers back. And Michigan has also won 6 of their last 7. They went to the rack at Rutgers on Wednesday, I think it was. And it's one of the hardest places to play and win. Rutgers was undefeated at home to that point. They beat Rutgers there. Purdue has lost 3 in a row. Since beating Indiana. So now they're back home. This is like a perfect situational spot where, Purdue lost 3. They're back home, which is a really hard place to win. And Michigan has won 6 out of the 7. They're on the road coming into Purdue. It's a revenge game for Purdue. So, I really like Purdue here. I think Trevion Williams is going to be a matchup nightmare for Michigan. He was a nightmare for them the first time. Michigan still gives up the second highest 2-point scoring rate in Big Ten play. Rutgers didn't take advantage of that, but I think Purdue does with their size on the inside. I just think this is a letdown spot for Michigan. And on top of that, Michigan is only 3-5 straight up and against the spread on the road this year. So I think all that put together, it's a good situational spot for Purdue to win.
All right, so we got Purdue -3. I can see that. This Michigan team is an up and down team. I mean, I know it's based on Isaiah Livers and how healthy he is there, but if I were them, I'd be monitoring his minutes just so he makes it to the tournament alive. Southampton scores, Dusseldorf scores. This Birmingham team in championship play loves to score goals. Definitely interesting days so far coming up there. We are still scoreless 10 minutes into the Dortmund roll, but we've got a nice little run right here that are going. All right, that's 3 looks in college basketball. I'll interrupt you with one look that I'm on. I'm on Louisville over 145 versus North Carolina. I know that's going to come as a shocker to most people that I'm on Louisville overs, but I'm going to take Louisville here at home. Tempted to lay the 9, but I think that's too many points. I definitely think we'll be able to get a better line live there, but that's a 4 o'clock. I'm going to take Louisville over 145.
Like that.
What else you on?
The last one that I'm on is Nova at Xavier. I'm on Xavier the money line here. Xavier's tough at home. We saw what they were able to do to DePaul when they went there on the road. I
But
would.
is it the
I
Florida
would.
Paper Tiger? Is that
They
a team
are.
that just started off really hot, picked up a lot of wins in non-conference, and then came
Yeah, they
in?
basically. Yeah, they're basically like
Losing
they started
constantly.
off like 12-1, and then they went like 1-12.
Yeah.
Um, but I would still feel good about this line up until Xavier -1. I think they're starting to really look like a team now. Versus like how they started off the year. The situation here is that they get Nova at home. After winning that Nova won that must-win game at St. John's on Monday, and then now they're back on the road. They're coming to Xavier. If you look at the rebounding and scoring inside the paint, Villanova's given up the second highest 2-point scoring rate in the Big East, and they're giving up the highest scoring rate, and they're giving up the overall highest scoring rate in the Big East. So that's from not only 2 points, but 3 points, free throws. And Xavier is scoring the second highest in 2-point scoring rate in the Big East. So one team's given up the second highest, and the other team is actually scoring the second highest. So I think Tyreek Jones has a monster game here for Xavier. They lost the first one at Nova, so it's kind of a revenge spot for them at home. And I think the line is off because the market is just valuing Villanova a little more, being that they're playing really well and that they've won, I think, 3 in a row right now. So this is like a must-win game for Xavier as well, if they want to get into the tournament, if they want to, keep their spot to be in the tournament. So I think they also match up well in size. They're a better rebounding team than Villanova on the glass. So I think Xavier wins this outright at home. So give me the money line on it.
All right. What's the money line at right now?
I think it's at -105. So it was like +100 earlier, but it's -105 now.
All right, -105. I'll take that. That's not a problem. All right, before we break down a couple games that I was just looking through that caught my eye, what's your take on North Texas Louisiana Tech?
Yeah, that one I saw it this morning. I think it's a 4-point line.
Yep.
I've bet on North Texas has not, as for the most part, not let me down this whole season. I like them here. I know Louisiana Tech has been they've been actually looking pretty good. But I would have to go with North Texas here with the 4 points. When I was doing my lines for the games this morning, I actually had this game. Just gonna pull it up right now. I had this game at North Texas -5, so getting it at 4 points. I mean, it's not a big advantage, but it's 1 point less that they're giving you. So I like that line right there.
All right, definitely like that. Definitely think that's going to be some luck. So let's look at the chat here. See what they're morning Killer B, Marinara Quaps, been here from the beginning. On Point Wagers. Make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate that. Yes, definitely hit the like button. Definitely try to put in some money in your pocket and go. Shock this Dortmund-Bremen game. We're still sitting at 0-0.
Why not?
I've got to look and see what option we've got here live because this game's not ending 0-0.
It's not going to end in 0-0?
No, I will eat my hat before it ends in 0-0. Couple things there. All right. Hajduk split. Like I said, if you ever wanted to just pad your ACA, Hajduk split in the Croatia League. Almost every team except for 3 is a great place. They're kicking the crap out of Gorica. They're up 7-0. Slavia Prague scores. They're up 2-0. Nottingham and QPR. We got that first goal for that over 2.5. If you tailed, bam, bam. 1 goal in for Nottingham. I think they win this game 2-1. All right, let's see what we got live here in Dortmund. They're Oklahoma State. What am I missing? 1.5.
Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma at Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, they recently started Oklahoma State, I know as bad as they looked a couple weeks ago, they actually haven't been looking that bad lately. But I haven't seen any injuries for this, and the line did throw me off too, because I get it. Like Oklahoma State they've kind of turned it around, but it's just a different it's just a different type of game. Like, Oklahoma's just a totally different, better talented team than Oklahoma State. So I have this line as actually, there's a huge value on Oklahoma +2. I have here. What is it now? 1.5, you said?
I see 1.5.
Yeah. So yeah, 1.5 is a great line for that. There's a big advantage there with that. I would take, I would take Oklahoma +1.5 on the road in Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I know it's a rivalry game, but other than that, I see no rhyme or reason in any way, shape, function, or form that would lead me to believe that is there. Yeah, I'm on Sheffield United. Sorry, Ken Peacock. Yeah, I killed the banner when I was creating the banner for him. So let me show you what we're on. We've got a goal, of course, in the English Championship. Shocking. It's another. Oh, they took the goal away from Nottingham. Oh, I hate it when it reads correction. So, damn it. If you're not on the over 2.5, I still think there's time. I still think we're going to hit that. The Dortmund live line is down to 1.5. It's still heavily juiced, though, at -154. But I definitely I think we get at least 2 goals. I think that's a gift. I don't think it's going to say Dortmund's been sitting here right on the edge of the box here for the last 5 minutes here. They just can't get a shot on goal. But they're definitely pressuring them. Let's look through. So I don't know. I'm tempted to take Oklahoma plus that one, the -1.5. Actually, it's +1.5 Oklahoma.
No, plus, yeah, you should take it. I mean, I think it's just because they're coming off a really tough stretch of games. They it was like unfortunate circumstances, but they've lost, I think, 3 or 4 games in a row.
Yeah, but they lost like Baylor and Kansas.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like they came into the season with the 17th. I think it was like the 17th ranked, like the toughest schedule in the country. So I don't, but I think just because of their struggles in these past 3 losses, and it's a rivalry game, is why the line was made this way. But overall, Oklahoma is the better team by far. So. I don't see their struggles continuing. Yeah, like you said, that was against Baylor. It was against tough teams. This is Oklahoma State, who has been underwhelming, has not been performing well. And if you're giving me 1.5 points with Oklahoma, I'm going to take that.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm putting it as my official play. Oklahoma +1.5. I've looked at enough things that I looked on that. Didn't see anybody noticeably out. I'm taking that. I have no issue with that. All right, so let's talk to the game. Everybody wants us to talk to why this game is at 12 o'clock. No idea in the world. We've got Kansas. We've got Baylor. Basically, winner gets the #1 seed overall,
Right.
Barring any weird update, unless they meet again in the Big 12 or somebody falls out really early in the Big 12 championship conference tourney. What's your take?
Well, looking at this initially, the first time around, Kansas was 7-point favorites, and they took a double-digit loss at home to Baylor. So I have this game as like a 3-point game, but Kansas hasn't lost since that time, and Baylor hasn't lost since they lost to that Washington team that is now like fallen off the planet. But they've only been an under.
Guade Green.
What's that?
Guade Green either has to have the biggest head in the world right now. Well, we were undefeated when I was there.
They've they've only been an underdog once this year, and that was at West Virginia, and they won that straight up. To the help of West Virginia not scoring a basket within 7 minutes. This is Kansas I'm talking about.
Yep.
So Baylor has only been a single-digit favorite 11 times. Out of those 11 times, they've gone 8-3 against the spread. I'm going to have to lay it with. If I were to lay it, because I don't think I'm going to play this game, but if I were to lay it, I would have to lay it with Baylor at home. I'm not looking to fade either one of these teams right now, just because they've both been with their winning on their winning streak. But it's hard to turn down a team like Baylor at home as a 2-point favorite right now, 2.5.
Yeah, 1.5 right now is what I see.
I've faded Baylor tried to fade Baylor a couple times this season. It's bit me in the ass. I tried to fade them with West Virginia again last week. I thought they could hang with Baylor on the offensive glass with, Culver and Shiway, one of the better rebounding teams in the nation too, West Virginia is, and that didn't work out. I think they were down by like 20 plus at one point. But the one I was looking at this morning, and the one statistic that I found, and I don't know if it means anything or not, but to those listening, but Baylor has allowed the third highest block rate in college basketball, basically how often their shots get blocked. So they are the third most in the country in getting their shots blocked. Now, Kansas is 13th in the country in blocking shots. So, I don't know how much that goes into a factor here. It could maybe make a difference in the point total, of this thing going under with having shots blocked. So, I really don't have a side on this that I'm set on. But if you're giving me Baylor at home with 2 points, I don't see why I would fade that or go against that,
Yeah, I think I got to watch this Baylor team a lot more. My question with Baylor is their outside shooting.
Right.
If you get into a game where they have to depend on their outside shooting, do they make enough shots to advance in the game? They shoot 35%, which is very good, but that's my only question I have on this team. But they definitely lock people down, which is what I like. Any side on the total? The total at 129.5.
It's such a low total, but again, the way these two teams play and how strong they are defensively, I don't see them I just don't see them racing up and down the court and putting up points.
But if you're Kansas, don't you pretty much think that's what you're going to have to do? You're not going to beat Baylor in a half-court set.
No, you're not going to beat Baylor in a half-court set.
To me, I think they have got to get about 67 points. So then your question, can Baylor get 62 or get around 66, 63, 64, somewhere around there?
I think
that's the question. Personally, I think I'm going to take the over. It's not going to be an official play, but that's kind of where I lean. I just think it's too low.
Yeah, for both of these teams, again, as good as they are defensively, they are pretty good offensively too.
Both average over 70 points. Realistically, do you put Kansas's defense better than West Virginia's? And the total went right to 129. I think Kansas's offense is better than West Virginia's.
Oh, Kansas' offense is definitely better than West Virginia's. I think their defense is right about the same. Yeah.
So if you feel the offense is a couple points better, it was 70-59 when Baylor beat West Virginia. To me, I look at that. Kansas is going to at least get 63, 64, maybe.
Yeah, and they're both very good offensive rebounding teams, right? So after their shots, they're both really good at getting that second look on the basket. So because I would agree with you then. Yeah, I would go with the over. That 129 is just too low, and I think both these teams, as good as they are defensively, they are really good offensively too. You got a good point there.
Yeah. So we had a goal in Bournemouth, and the goal was taken away. Southampton scored a goal just to kind of give us an update of what's happened there. Barcelona scored. They were favored by 2.
Wait, is that Bournemouth versus Burnley?
Yep, it's 0-0.
Who scored the goal?
The goal was taken away.
But who had scored it?
Who originally scored the goal? Josh King.
Yeah.
Who do you have? Anytime goal. Obviously, you have an anytime goal. So who do you have?
No, I don't have an anytime goal. I was seeing what team scored it because I have a team side. I was trying to see who's winning the.
Bournemouth scored the goal.
Okay.
It was scored by Josh King, not Callum Wilson or Harry Wilson. Stoke's going to score here. They're going to get on the board, make it 1-0. In the Bundesliga, because I know this is not going to happen. Let's look at some live action because right now we've got one team scoring goals, which is FC Köln. There's definitely going to be other teams that score goals. Your Purdue line went up to 3.5 points. Damn it, I got to buy a half point. Let's talk about the fun game tonight. I'm wondering what the books are thinking here because I think they're about to either get rocked or have like the greatest night of their life. Gonzaga minus 4.5. Sheffield United scores. Yes.
Did they?
Yes. Stop counting them. Yeah.
Yes. All right, we're good.
Gonzaga minus 4.5. Gonzaga has shown recently they can play terrible.
Yeah.
And then just decide to start playing in the second half and still cover spreads. That they had no business covering the 17. Shooting a 3 at the end. I know.
I was pissed off about that because I told you in our private chat that I had the 17, and then when I saw that, I was like, "Fuck."
Well, it was kind of the Gonzaga's thing. The guy's playing heavy defense with 3 seconds left, and he knocks the ball out, down 14 points. So the announcer said it best. He's like, "Why give a guy a turnover? Let him shoot at the end of the shot clock." Right. All right, okay, he does. Fine, boom. And why Kerry Kispert still in the game, up 14? I have no idea, but that guy is the second coming of JJ Redick if there ever was one. I actually think he's going to be a really, really good pro.
Yeah.
He's going to be one of those guys you're just going to come off screen, sit in the corner. He's going to be a 3-point specialist. Not sure he's the 3-and-D guy. He might just be the 3 guy. Defense is kind of suspect, but I love when guys say defense is suspect. Then I watch the guys in the NBA. There, I've got a big there. Most of you guys don't know I'm not a big Zion guy. He's hugely talented offensively. He's as big as he's talented offensively. He's incredibly lazy on the defensive end. So my buddy tells me all the time, he's like, "Oh, he scored 27." I was like, "Yeah," and his man scored 23. Okay, it's a 4-point difference. Woo woo! I was like, he plays 0 D. That's there. The only time he plays the D is if he can get a block shot on somebody else's drive when he's coming over to fill the lane. That's about it. I also watch his shot get blocked like 10 times a game.
Doesn't LeBron play like that though? Plays like no D. He just kind of like comes over and like whacks the ball away every once in a while on somebody's drive.
But LeBron's been in the league for 14, 15 years. Zion's been in the league for 14, 15 days. I mean, the fact they're like, "Oh, no, this is just what he does." And I was like, yeah, they played a Portland team that was completely overmatched. But when you saw, if Portland was smart and said, okay, we're not going to run up and down with them, we're not going to switch on anything. We'll just take one-on-one battles, and we'll have Whiteside clean everything up in the middle. Whiteside has 7 blocks. It's 7 blocks again. I mean, and you're just trying to shoot threes. The mirror, just throw it back down, get Zion in foul trouble. That's all it's going to take, and then just turn around and come back. But anyway, I'm not going to get on my Zion rant. Let's talk about my fun game, Auburn, Tennessee at 12 o'clock.
Oh, that game, that freaking.
Why are you doing that? I'm looking up some Bundesliga live.
Okay. I was looking at this one, and this is a situation I think where the power rankings haven't taken into consideration how good Auburn is at home versus on the road. They're kind of like night and day. Normally, I would give like home court advantage when I'm doing lines as like 3 points, but with Auburn, it's more like 5 or 6. Like that's how like they are really good at home. I think Tennessee overall, if you watched them in the season, they've shown like bits and spurts of like being competitive at times, and it wouldn't shock me like if they were if they were like hanging around within like 3 or 4 points. But the way I look at this is Auburn had some bad performances on the road. Now they're back home. But I think, and I haven't looked it up actually yet, I don't know if Okaro is still out for Auburn, because he was out. I don't know if he was out the last game. I know. I'm not sure about the one before that.
Yeah, Real got pissed at me the other day because what was that, Wednesday, Thursday night where he came out. He's like, we're doing a Auburn money line and some other team money line.
And you're like, Okaro's out.
I tweeted him back and I said, "Is this where we tell you Okoro's not playing?" I got what are you telling me? It's like there, and sure enough, they lost.
I have a friend like that who actually he texts me all the time, like the college bets, and he'll bet me, like he'll text me like one of the teams, like he's taking like Kentucky or something, and I'll be like, did you know this person's out? And he's like, fuck. He's like, now you tell me when I'm like, dude, I was like, I didn't know to tell you, but yeah, you got to look this up before you make that bet. But yeah, a lot of it will depend on whether he's out today or not. If he's out, I can see Tennessee hanging around in that 6.5, 7 points. That's kind of where I have the line made, so there's not much of an edge. But if he's in there, I could see Auburn just blowing them out.
If he's in there, you got to think the line's could be higher than 6.
That's true too. Yeah, it'll move last minute.
I mean, Tennessee is not a very good team. We've got some goals again. This Birmingham team, boom, they already went over and over 2.5. Whoops, definitely should have been on them. Bristol City and West Brom are scoreless. I was looking to see if I can get on the Leeds live, but my book's not giving me anything. Stupid book. Nottingham, QPR.
We're still 0-0 in the Dortmund game.
Yeah, well, it's at halftime at 0-0. They're flashing an over 1.5. They're flashing the same over 1.5 that they gave you before. Caen in the French 2 is just beating the crap out of Lens. That's kind of a shocker. That's come through. Lens is one of the top teams in that league, and they're just getting their ass kicked. But that's where you got to look. A lot of times, a lot of sales and stuff go on in January, and those guys come back, and then they're playing with younger guys. My Scottish parlay this weekend is the Aberdeen Dons, who are up 1, the Rangers and the Celtics. It's only playing a plus 200, but I'll take it. Also, Kenneth Takorte, welcome in. Yeah, unfortunately, Brighton scored. It's turned out to be a very interesting game, this Brighton-Southampton game. Southampton needs the points here. I know they can finish in 5th place, most likely, unless there's a huge adjustment that we weren't accounting for. Bundesliga is just about to. West Brom scores. Boom. Yeah, let's go. 1-0. Let's go. They're playing a good Bristol City team, so this is probably not the last goal. Like I said, personally, I'm on the over 2.5. That's it. But West Brom needs to keep their lead. But like I said, the championship will let you down. It just that's my memo every single week. The championship will let you down. All right, let's kick off. Let's look at some of the college basketball games that we're on. We talked about there. What about this Houston-Memphis team?
Yeah, I mean, that one's I think Quentin Grimes is doubtful for this game, and that's Houston's leading ball handler, and he almost plays like I think he plays the most minutes out of all the people on that roster. He means a lot to that team. So, if he's out, this is also a big time motivational spot for Memphis because they're still trying to get into the tournament, and they need a big home win against Houston. I think with Quentin Grimes, if he's out, Memphis at home, motivational spot. They need this home win. They should be able to get to the free throw line too. Memphis has they have the 3rd highest free throw rate in the AAC, and Houston actually gives up the 2nd highest free throw rate in the American. So there's a motivational edge here. Memphis at home, and Houston has an injury, and Memphis is really good at free throws. So all those put together, I kind of like Memphis here if Grimes is out to take it.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I wonder if I take it live. I wonder if I take it early. I've bet on this Memphis team all year, and they've let me down. I know they only have 8 losses, so they've let me down at least 8 times. Because I was really high on them in the beginning of the year. Obviously, having Wiseman was going to be huge for them, and then losing them, that's there. Birmingham continues to play no defense. We got a 2-2 game that's happening. Charlton gets on the board, gets up 1-0 versus our favorite team, Luton. Geraldo, did you take them at plus 1,800 this week? So,
Sheffield is tied 1-1 with Brighton.
yeah, we saw that has Brighton. Brighton's got a free kick right here, corner actually. It's been an interesting game. I mean, you got some back and forth. I mean, I thought it was going to be a cagey game. Oh, get in the box. Yes, good save. Just rolled right to him. Easy save. We talked about Nova Xavier. Texas, Kansas State. Don't you feel Texas has to win this game? Getting 5.5. The 5.5 is really what intrigues me.
Yeah, I think at 5.5, it's definitely. But Texas they've been so bad on the road though. Both of these teams are just really crap teams.
But you're 15-11. You've got to get to about 17, 18, 19 wins to at least even
right to even have a consideration. Yeah.
This is the game I think you've got to win. I can see Texas coming out and playing well. And again, it depends upon which Texas team decides to show up. And of course, we make fun of Luton, so they decide to score.
They're like, let's fuck these guys over.
Crap.
I mean,
the Dons just picked up a straight red, up 1-0.
Who are the Dons?
Aberdeen.
Oh.
It's a Scottish Premier League. Let's see what we got live. Let me put it this way. Before the red card, they were minus 1,600 to win the game.
Right.
If you want to take it real quick, my book hasn't flipped it, but you're going to play Ross County, who absolutely sucks, by the way. They suck. But it's at plus 2,400 live right now.
Plus 2,400.
And they'll have 11 guys, and the Dons will have 10 guys for 60 minutes.
Okay.
Down a goal. So it wouldn't shock me to see them win the game. I'm gonna take beer money shot on it. That's
I'll throw like $10 on it. Why not?
D, our take on Kansas Baylor. We already went over. I was leaning towards taking the over. That was the play that we were taking. I didn't really think we had a strong look on either of the sides based on what we talked about. Was that correct, Sean?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a game who you can live play. You'll probably possibly get plus money on both sides and then walk away. That's probably going to be your best bet. There's going to be runs by both teams. Anytime you get plus 150, I'd throw some money on that and then come back around and wait for the other team to take a shot. The only way I wouldn't is if Baylor was the team that busted out to a huge lead.
Right.
Because they'd be at home, and that would be the game there. But Duke Split's going to try to see if they can get 10 goals this game. They're going to be up 6-0 here in a second. I'm really watching this Bundesliga. It's kind of killing me right now, to be honest with you. Got a lot tied up in this. Definitely was looking there, but it'll do that to you. Definitely take West Virginia TCU. Why is the line only 4.5?
Because both of these teams are absolutely trash. I mean, like I don't have a huge play on it. The only thing I can tell you is that TCU is 0-10 against the spread. Against defenses allowing 64 points or fewer, and West Virginia is a really good defense that does not allow more than 64 points on average. So your play will probably be on West Virginia here. TCU just can't score, and it doesn't help that they're up against West Virginia either. I think your play here is West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't understand this only being 4.5. I mean, I love 4, but
I think it's also because of West Virginia's, lack of success over the past. Although they have faced who did they face? It was Baylor and Kansas back to back, and the sheer fact that they played these like really two good defensive teams that held them to that, like I said, like they went to that scoring drought in that Kansas game where they didn't even score any points for like 8 minutes. And then, Baylor also kind of held them down in scoring. So I think it's kind of like an overreaction in the market on West Virginia and their bad performance the past like 2-3 games that they've had. But TCU is nowhere near being Kansas or Baylor. So I think West Virginia gets back on track after their little slump, and they cover that and they blow out TCU.
Yeah, I definitely think. I'm questioning to make that an official play. We got a corner here for Dortmund. Everybody misses. Mr. Witzel comes back, resets it up. Dortmund still providing pressure. We should get a Dortmund goal. But right there in the front. Ooh.
No.
Holland misses it from the left side of the post. Teed off. Nice play. 2-0 West Brom. That's great. Ken Peacock. I like it. That's the way we like it. Hull's going to get on the board here as well to make it 1-0. Like I said, I'm also on that over 2.5 personally. So one more goal for West Brom, I'll be really happy. That'll kind of start to make my day. But I'm going to need some more action in this Bundesliga. Oh,
no, Dortmund scored, right?
Yep. Right now. I just turned away, looked back, boom, we get the goal. All right. So Dortmund gets up 1. That's 1. I personally need 3 more. I don't think that's going to happen. But I did take the over 1.5 live. So hopefully that'll cover some there. And then I've got.
Are they going to score anything in the Gladbach and Hoffenheim?
Yes.
15 minutes right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's still goals coming in there. Who gets the goal? Zagadou? Is that Zagadou? Looks like it is. Yep. All right. Good to see finally goals. Hopefully that'll start the floodgates. Hopefully they'll come up. Zagadou, the defenseman, that's not there. It looks like he holds the guy. That's my only worry was. But we'll take the goal. The check is done. Yep. All right. We've got what's going on in this Gladbach game. We got a foul or offsides. Okay. All right. Getting back to college basketball. Wright State -9.5 versus a terrible Cleveland State team. Cleveland State sucks.
Cleveland State's horrible. And Wright State they played the other night, didn't they? I think I was watching.
They played the other night. So they played the other night. They played versus Youngstown State. They lost by 18. That was kind of shocking. Youngstown State's been kind of on a roll lately, so not that surprising, but definitely was shocking by the amount of points that it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
So. What was the other goal that just scored? Who's the other goal? I don't recognize that symbol. What the world's other symbol is that? Oh, Hull. Okay. We've got a Crystal Palace goal.
I was going to take Crystal Palace too, money line. I didn't do it.
Actually, if you actually look at the series between these guys, it's been, for the most part, owned by Newcastle. That's the only reason I took them. I took them strictly based on Newcastle's owned this series. I mean, but every game is the same score, 1-0, 1-0. So last year Newcastle won home at 9-0. Away, Newcastle lost 1-0. Then they drew. Then Newcastle won.
So you're saying there's still value at Crystal Palace plus 120 right now?
They're up 1-0. If you're still getting 120 on that, I would definitely take it.
Okay.
All right. The man, the myth, the legend has joined us. Let's go ahead and introduce back to everybody Mr. Lockerty. Adam, how you doing? Oh, whoops. We hit the button. And
there we go.
Adam, how you doing? How you doing? Yes.
I'm great.
What's up, Lock?
How you guys? I got to apologize again. We just finished our SBR Ice Guys. Look at me, I'm an idiot. NHL show, and I got that cable running outside my window. So apologize for the back noise. Nothing I can do about it except move. It's one of those things we didn't know what we were getting into until our first night living here, and then it was like, what the fuck is that sound going on outside? It was already too late to do anything about it. Paid all the rent and the deposit and all that shit. So anyway, but yeah, no, I'm good. I've only made 2 plays so far today for the NHL. They're both on medium to heavy favorites. I just gave out the Capitals puck line -1.5 against the Devils. And the other one I'm on is the Colorado Avalanche puck line against the Kings. And
yeah, they've been hot.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is I love to in the NHL we see so every team plays every other team at least twice a season. Western teams will play each other between 3 and 5 times a season. So we get many of these scheduling spots where a team just recently played against the opponent and maybe you didn't hit your pick and you've got a better price on it now, and just go for it again if the price is right. So that's my thought today. So for the Capitals, that game's on at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's an early start today. And I just love that the price on that. I got it at +125, and nice. It's a situation where the Devils are sort of in a little bit of a good run. The Capitals aren't. If you match these teams up on paper, even how they've played in their first 3 games this year, Capitals have heavily outplayed the Devils. And so a plus number on a puck line play, even though they're on the road, I mean, they're going from Washington, New Jersey for a matinee game. They're well aware of how shitty they've been lately. So it's a situation that I just love for the Capitals to break the streak. I wouldn't even say it's contrarian. The price is a plus number, but that just has more to do with, Blackwood is won his last 5 starts. And additionally, the Devils can, punish a team for sloppy turnovers. But if we look at, the factors that lead me to be on the Capitals in the first place, they should crush, the Devils. So that's I love the flash score. You got your 25 games going on there. I've got my flash score on another window too. It's got 30 something games as well, and it's just constantly like this service break or this goal just went in, and it's just blowing up all the time. It's exciting. It's like something comes in, you're like, ooh, what happened?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting there. I definitely gotta say it's not actually flash score because our friends at Soccer 24 are helping us out here, allowing us to put it there. They've got Soccer 24, Basketball 24. It does the same thing for college basketball.
Oh, but it's got the odds right next to the games. That's great.
Yeah. So I reached out to them. They said, yeah, as long as we can see the logo and you pop our name up, we have no problem with it. So our friends definitely help us out here. I definitely like it. I think it's a nice little trick to add with the live game. So you see everything that's basically going on right now, and everyone can see what the scores and stuff. And then I love the new Ashton they put. It was this nice little icon that pops up when you get the goal for anything that you selected. So like we could see the Barcelona score. We could see Dusseldorf score up 2-0. You also start to learn all the little symbols for all the teams, because I will tell you sometimes they pop up and I'm like, I have no idea who
which was it the team I'm on?
I was like, I knew. In other words, I know everyone laughed at me, but Ross County scored again. The score's 1-1. So if you took that little beer money at plus 2,400, we are definitely live.
We're looking good.
We're up to 20 people. That's great. Definitely look. So how many more games do we have left in hockey? I mean, we've got to be past the stretch run here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the final quarter of the season now. As far as how many games for the whole season, I'm not sure, but I think everybody's about 62 average, like 60, 62, somewhere in there, more or less. And yeah, everybody's sitting between 60 and a couple teams at 64. Yeah, final 20 games for everybody. And I mean, the playoff race is just incredible at the moment. You in the East, you've got, let me just go by the points here. You've got the Rangers kind of bringing up the last team to have a shot. I mean, Montreal technically is still in it, and Buffalo's still in it, but I think they would have to win 85% of the remaining games to actually clinch based on historical numbers. So I think it's between the Rangers and the Flyers, really. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams are all within 7 points of each other. And then in the West, it's even crazier. You've got outside the 3 teams in the Central, where you've got St. Louis, Colorado, Dallas, all kind of just a little bit ahead of the pack. You've got between Vegas and the Wild, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8 teams between 7 points. So it's completely, someone was asking me in our Discord the other day, what I thought about taking the Canucks. And I just said, yeah, like it's a good number at like 20 to 1 or something it was. But there's no guarantee the Canucks are even going to be in the playoffs at this point. In January, I took my first 3 outrights. I took Tampa, St. Louis, and the Penguins, all for about, I think, 10 to 1, 11 to 1, somewhere in there. And actually, I think the Penguins are 15 to 1. And because I knew those 3 teams would be in no matter what, and we were all looking at a good price, so I put 2 units on all 3 of those. And all 3 of them are without a doubt going to be in the playoffs. So, yeah, you say the Canucks number is bigger, twice as big as a Tampa team that we got it at back in January. Yeah. But with that Pacific Division, could be Calgary, Vegas, Edmonton. It could be Phoenix, Vancouver, Edmonton. It could be 5 Central teams and 3 Pacific teams. It's just every single night the standings change in that Western race. So I don't recommend taking one of the Pacific teams. I also think that's the weakest bunch of teams in the West. If you're looking at outrights with value, I still think the Avalanche has value, or the Blues. So those would be my 2. But anyways, going back to my other game, I was just going to say, hey, did you play any NHL outrights? I know you guys sometimes dabble with some hockey.
I did the Caps actually preseason before. I did
Nice.
I took the Capitals. But I wanted to ask you about the Blues. Is it normal for, like, how many times has the team repeated the cup? Like, how many times have they made it to the final? Because the Blues were last year, right?
Yeah, the Blues were last year, the Caps were the year before, and then Pittsburgh won back-to-back the 2 years before that. It's in today's NHL, it's incredibly rare because in the 2004-2005 lockout, what happened was a salary cap became instituted in the NHL, and if you're familiar with it in other leagues, what it did was, obviously there's a salary cap, meaning you can have to spread the wealth out amongst the entire league. Nobody can, just stack their teams. Like if you compare the salaries in MLB from the best to the worst, like, what was it, Moneyball or whatever that movie is, where they talk about the issue of an Oakland team compared to a Red Sox team. They can't compete. So the NHL instituted that because obviously some of their rinks, some of their orgs have trouble selling tickets. Their owners aren't as invested in, paying top dollar for acquisitions. So since that lockout 15 years ago, we've only seen 1 team win back-to-back championships, and that was the Penguins. It is really hard to come by. Why I went with the Blues this year to add was they retained a lot of their value in their system, like the way they play. They have 2 good tandem goalies. They've got strong physical defense, and they've got a forward core that doesn't depend on just one player. Like you said, Tarasenko is, their sniper, but if you actually watch them play, they're not dependent on him. he might lead their goal scoring and be essential to their power play. But they are not reliant on him the same way some other teams rely on their sniper. As far as the Caps, man, I am impressed with what they've done this season. I wouldn't have thought them a contender this year. Ovi and Backstrom and Carlson, those three older, I don't want to say old guys, because if you look at them, they're just crushing the league again. But they have really surpassed my expectations for what they would accomplish. And Ovi, I think he's one goal away from 700, or I think he's at 699 right now. And he's 41 goals, and he's like, what, 30s? You got a goal?
Yeah, Dortmund's has just scored here, so
Nice.
we're going to get up to 2, so the over 1.5 is hit. So we're definitely sitting there. Gladbach is just playing too defensively here, and it's Mr. Holland. So I haven't checked yet, but I'm pretty sure Holland has over 2 shots, but I will check on that.
Nice.
Because if you're having that, we should be fine. So, but they only have 2 shots on goal, so it might not. That's at least 1, though. So we just need at least one more shot. And that'll look good. Yes.
We got Jay in from the Sports Keg. So anybody who's in the Discord who doesn't know Jay's show, Live Line, you guys should definitely watch it. Very good spot to daily, like 4 hours of live betting. I'm pretty sure it's daily, maybe just a few times a week, but put in the they put in a lot of time. They put in a lot of work for that. So, it's really good way to win some live bets there. So,
and even get insight to make your own decisions on live bets, with several guys experienced in their own sports and stuff. I want to let you guys get back to the soccer here. So I'm just going to wrap up with my last play that I've made so far is that the Colorado Avalanche puck line. So they head in to face the Kings, who they played in the outdoor game, the Stadium Series, a week ago. And I had the Avs puck line that day, which didn't come in. And I thought the Avs were the far better team. It's similar to the Capitals play. It's based on the value in the spot. So even though Colorado's off a 1-0 win, it's a back-to-back against the Kings team that is starting to score a little bit. You look at the factors in the price, and it's plus 160 or something like that on the board. So just supreme value. So those are the two, just a small selection today. I've just been a bit busy with the tennis and esports, but I appreciate you guys having me on once more.
How is the esports coming out? Every now and then I look and I see you posted in the Discord. I have no idea. Like I said, after that one bet that I made that basically was like, here's your donation bet. And I was like, what the crap did I just bet on? Because it was like,
what did you bet? When was that?
If you go back and you look through the play way long time ago and just search me, I've only made like 4 posts in that channel.
Okay.
I had a bet that basically said, if you won, you lost minus 15. If you lose, you lost minus 20. I literally posted and I was talking to KG and was like, what does this mean? This basically just means I gave him $15. I mean, it like did some double multiplier thing like that. I picked a couple guys and do
you remember what game it was for?
Yeah, I'll have to find it. It was something in South Korea.
Okay, League of Legends maybe?
No, it was for Dota.
Oh, it was Dota. Okay, cool.
So it was Dota and said pick 2, and I was like, I thought I was doing like a 2-team parlay with some of the heavy favorites. The guy said the leg work, and I was like, all right, okay, it'll be a unit or so or a half unit. And then it came back and everything looked good until I hit the button. And then it was like some multiplier and it was like minus 1,500, minus 1,500. It was like, you lost again. And it's like, yes. So it's kind of was like, I literally texted. I was like, the way this goes, you lose. Then I went out and I talked to Bet Online, and Bet Online goes, that's the only thing we don't control. That's controlled by another outside group. And I went, what? What do you mean? And I was like, will you credit me back the money? And they're like, no, you lost. And I was like, I lost either way based on this bet. There was no way to win the bet.
You don't know what I lost on. Please help a brother out,
Yellow, you had me too excited there. It's still 2-0. If you took the -3, yes, we need one more. So Bologna scores right before the end. One of the games I was going to ask you about was one of the late games.
Okay.
and I know my Florida team is hanging on there.
Yeah.
They're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
Do you
Vegas
like the
is
Vegas?
good.
Do you like the Vegas puck line here?
Let me just see what I have it priced at.
I got
Vegas,
the minus
have-
1.5 at plus 125.
Vegas, I have it 63% today, and I haven't checked the puck line price. What was the puck line price? Sorry, did you just say it?
Plus 125.
Interesting. I don't know, man. It's tricky because there's a reason Vegas hasn't crushed the Pacific the same way. I mean, they have a good record against the Pacific, but they haven't crushed the opposition that's come to Vegas used to be a very hard place to play in. I say used to. They've only been around for 2 seasons, but it's interesting because we've seen them not show the same level of brilliance at home that we've seen in the past. I do think, as far as Florida's struggles, some games they just look like they shouldn't have a shot to be in contention for the playoffs. And other games, their offense is rolling. It depends on how many goals Florida scores. I know that sounds obvious, but if Florida makes this like a 4-3, 5-3 type game, that's where Florida wins it. If Fleury has one of his, I just don't trust Bobrovsky. I don't trust the back end of Florida. That's why, they're having struggles against, the Kings put up 5 on them the other night. The Kings when was the last time the Kings put 5 up on, probably not that long ago, but maybe against Calgary. But it's a situation where the Florida defense and goaltending has just been so shoddy. And I would lean to Vegas at the moment, but I have only breached the card for like 2 games at the moment. So it's a good spot for Vegas. Florida's been on the road for, I think, 3 or 4 games now. They went 2-1 in California. But Vegas is a different animal, and if their forwards get going, they could absolutely crush Panthers back end. So it really depends on what they limit the Florida offense to, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely. It's there. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of like that. I look at the Tampa Bay Arizona game. It would be nice to see the Yotes make the playoffs, especially as bad as they've been in previous years. It's I don't see the number as well. Only getting 151 with the Yotes at home is not something I really like. They're not in Tampa Bay. Yep.
Oh yeah, were you were asking about the Vegas game?
I did ask about the Vegas.
Okay.
I thought you just let me go on.
Yeah, I thought you just let me go on about some other game there.
No, it's there. I took Vegas on a puck line for small. I think at home cross country trip kind of deal, end of a road trip. So
and Arizona. I mean, their goals. They picked up Hall and Kessel, and they were just expected to kind of resolve some of their offensive issues this year, but they did for a portion of time, but down the stretch, this is where they lost the playoff spot last year, was they would lose like 2-1, 3-1, 2-0 games in which they absolutely, putting up 40, 50 shots on net. And you're wondering, we need to pick up some forward talent. They do. And now again, we see them struggling on the offensive end. Their goalie status has been, with Ranta and Kemper both injured or sick at different times this year. It's just left them in a scary spot. So I don't know about taking Arizona either. I think we'll see. I'll have to work on that one. But yeah, anyways, I was going to just say about the esports stuff though. Just hit me up, man. Anytime you're like, okay, that looks like the bet that Adam posted, but I don't want to have an issue with Bet Online where they're like, yeah. So just let me know if you're interested. Esports circuit is like well underway. We got StarCraft coming up next week. The CS:GO, I've got another LAN going on this weekend. Dota's going on this weekend. Those are my 3 main ones, and half of my betting volume is in esports every year. So it's a type of thing where, yeah, I love my traditional sports, but the esports market is just so soft. So for those of you that have an interest in putting down some money in something you're not familiar with, for the esports is here to stay. So it's not too late to be like, oh, I'm interested in learning about it. So don't hesitate. And in the future, I'll bring up some esports bet for the show if you guys like, and we can chat about that a bit more.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I know we have it in the Discord under esports, and then another
Nerd
channel
Bets.
is called
Nerd
Nerd Bets. Yeah. Nerd Bets. I love the names of the teams. It always kind of looks at me, and I was like, who in the world? I don't even know if someone's saying a joke or is that the team name?
Yeah,
it's like the Misfits versus Rogue. Okay, Rogue is somebody in X-Men. I know that. All right,
you're betting on like 15-year-old kids playing games behind.
Yeah, like I mean, they're all like adults now, but there's like in StarCraft, there's like a 16-year-old phenom from Italy. His name is, I should know his name. I forget it, but it's like this guy is earning more than like 95% of people that I know personally, and yet he still, needs his parents to drive him to the tournament, and he's just a tiny little kid, and like you're wondering how is he getting up on stage in front of thousands of people and hundreds of thousands of people around the world watching to be like winning big prize money, and it's a really interesting new space. Yella says, Sean, doesn't your son compete in e-games?
He does.
Is that right?
Yeah, so he's not that high. I mean, he's high for what is there. So, I mean, he's ranked in the Premier League and Rocket League.
No way.
He competes in Fortnite. He's done Fortnite tournaments. We have actually collected money that actually has hit PayPal. So I've been quite impressed with that sometimes. Yes.
See, there you go. We're going to be betting on Sean's kid. He's going to be.
if you bet on my kid, we'll definitely go the other way. Because all I know is I have to just go in there, just poke him once, and he loses. This is pretty easy. He gets frustrated quick.
I was going to say, Rocket League is up and coming. You can bet on Rocket League. It does have a professional scene, and Fortnite, of course, had their big World Cup tournament at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York last year, where they doled out, what was it, $3 million in prize money or something? And
he was in the semifinals. He was in the last tournament.
No way! That's crazy. Yep. But how cool is it that what other sports can someone who has only installed the game, 2 years prior, is playing a sport for the first time only 2 years prior, have a chance to 2 years later be in a World Cup where you can have life-changing money paid out to you?
Yeah, I literally watched the game so much, and a lot of it, I feel some of it is really, really luck. Other of it is much into understanding, because like if you watch the YouTube videos, which unfortunately he watches all the time, so I unfortunately have to listen to, they're talking about the drag of the car and somebody who's really understand the dynamics of the ball. When you heard it on this left
physics
bumper
of the
versus
game.
The complete physics. Then it was like, I'm like, somebody had to, they're like,
oh, we lost them.
No,
it's funny.
It's crazy how these kids are getting paid, because I was like, when I was like killing people on Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo back in the day, nobody was paying me. I could have destroyed anybody. Give me some money. I'd play anybody in a second. I just play Mortal Kombat.
You're like, take me to the arcade. Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little hiccup right there that happened, but yeah. I mean, and it's just crazy the amount of time that these kids put it in. He definitely does into it, but so it's fun still to basically look and watch and kind of there, but it is definitely sometimes leads to issues for the hours he tries to put in.
Well, so that's the other thing is that one esport commentator, he said, and he's an old guy, he's in his 50s. He said the way that that parents see professional gaming now is kind of the way their parents' generation saw kids that wanted to be in a band, in the music industry. It's like, it's just a pipe dream. It's never actually going to pay for anything. And, you're throwing away other potential avenues of success. And I mean, the professional gaming scene is still, as your son knows, incredibly difficult to get into. And the level of skill is there. There is a luck factor to it. But it's still a bit, it's hit the mainstream in terms of awareness, but it's still kind of like what? So you're a professional gamer. That means you're a nerd. You just sit on your ass all day. You don't, and some of these professional teams actually, like this team called Complexity, they train out of the Dallas Cowboys training center. They have nutritionists. They have trainers. They have coaches, analysts, not controlling, but, giving them plans for every part of their lifestyle. That's how serious, that's how big the money is now getting into esports.
2K has a draft.
Yeah.
2K has a little draft. They actually go through and like draft players who are unranked, who are just starting to play and play in the tournament.
Yeah.
And literally just are sponsored by the NBA basketball teams. And you're like, really? Burnley scores, makes it 1-0 for those of you who took Burnley.
Right. I gotta run and work on some hockey stuff, guys. I wish you best of luck today. Thanks again.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, Adam. Love to hear your knowledge. We'll definitely try to dive into esports and future things, especially with some things. Is there anything we should take right now for a game? Because you said Dota was this weekend.
Yeah, I'm so with my approach, I'm big on like the volume aspect. I'm not too much of a fan of guys just choosing one play to tail like on a random Saturday. I mean, if you want action, you can send me a message for a game. But I'm big on if I'm posting for a Dota tournament, which starts Tuesday, follow throughout the whole tournament or the whole month, because that's how you actually see the profits come in. One random Saturday, that could be my worst day of the tournament, and then you're like, well, fuck this. I'm not betting on a video game again.
All right. Fair. I just try to figure out what 19.5, Enigma minus 13.5, VP plus 1.5. I'm like, I assume that's boards or points.
No, it's like the scoring in esports is similar to tennis. So you have games that are part of a series, like a best of 3 or best of 5. And so when I post Enigma plus 1.5 or minus 1.5, it's to win by 2-0 basically, or win 1 set. That's how that scoring works. But I have a shit ton of articles I've written on the subject. So honestly, like, do not hesitate. There's no stupid question. There are stupid questions.
Yes,
there are stupid questions. I had a laugh with one of the guys in the Discord yesterday with I won't give scold him, but it was, here's what a set is. When you put minus 1.5, it's 2-0. If you're betting tennis, you should probably know what that is already.
Yes.
But anyway, it was a good laugh. And if he's listening, don't be embarrassed. We're all learning. But anyway, have a great Saturday, guys. I hope you come out profitable.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody heard from Twatty? Because I know Twatty was going to come on. Let's see if we can get the traveling person to join us. I know we had some Pittsburgh looks and some things like that. Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. It's still a stay away from me till I figure out what the world I'm doing.
All right.
And it's not like I have issues trying to find something to bet. I will say there, if you were smart enough and you took that Ross County plus 2,400 and you're alive, right now you can get Aberdeen at minus 182. So if you want to make sure you're going to at least walk away with nothing or walk away with a winner, that's not a bad play. The draw is a plus 130, but not really sure that's going to end in a draw. Every Scottish game is tied though right now, so that's kind of interesting. If you want the both teams to score for a Hibernian, I saw someone post that in the Discord. That just cashed there. So yes, unfortunately, Bundesliga and Hoffenheim, Mönchengladbach looks like it's going to let us down. We still got about 15 minutes left in this game. Don't think we're going to get 2 goals. I'm hoping to at least get 1 more. I'd love to get the at least the -1.
I need Sheffield to win here.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time left in that game. I mean, we still got over 30 minutes left. Half hour to play. We're at 5-1-1. What are we looking at? Any live action that's capable? I'm absolutely shocked that Nottingham and QPR, after that one early goal, hasn't scored a goal. Everything's locked for me. They're not putting any lines on there. I wanted to get on this Leeds game because this game is big. They keep blocking Leeds. I don't know why. We are on Marseille starting in 15 minutes. Marseille's been on a heck of a run, especially defensively. Their only losses are to Lyon and to PSG. Other than that, they've won their last 3. Being at home, I love this Marseille to win right now. Damn it, Bournemouth ties the game. So personally, I'm on Burnley here. I love the plus money on this chance, but Bournemouth scores. Let's find out and say who scores for my man Shocks here. It was Harry Wilson, the other Wilson brother, who are definitely not related. On that game, we're definitely not getting a huge game. Spal and Juventus is going to kick off at 12 o'clock. One thing to be line up, we've got Champions League for Juventus on the cards coming in on Tuesday, so you got to be really weary of the lineup. Ronaldo does play. I actually thought they would rest him. He does play. However, Douglas Costa doesn't play. Pjanic doesn't play. Khedira hasn't played in a while anyway. So Cuadrado actually
old.
What?
Isn't Khedira old too? These are all the guys from that German team from like 6 years ago.
Yeah, Khedira's been injured all year, so that's not there. Pjanic is the guy that normally plays. He's the guy they're resting, but he's been injured for a while. But they're going to rest him. But it's Dybala and Ronaldo up top. So I like Juventus. Not sure. Gladbach gets a goal.
They scored a goal. All we need is one more there. We need one more in Dortmund, Werder Bremen, and they took the Bournemouth goal off again.
Which, by the way, we haven't even watched. Gladbach also missed a PK.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So we were on the right side. Just definitely doesn't get. Oh, that was where that handball came into play that they were looking at VAR. Playa scores anyway. 5-6 minutes later, they're up 2-0. Hopefully, we need still chance to get one more. Wigan's going to score here, make it 1-0. Bournemouth goal taken away. Burnley still up 1. All right, let's get back to college basketball. We kind of deered off that.
Yeah, so another game I was looking at, Texas Tech at Iowa State. This one I like Texas Tech to cover this game. As everyone knows, Halliburton is done for the season. He's been done for the past couple games. Texas Tech has the highest. They have the highest 3-point. They make the most 3 points in the Big 12. Not scoring rate, but shooting. I mean, so not scoring rate, but
taken away.
Taken away. Shit. Not scoring rate, but percentage in Big 12 play. So Texas Tech shoots the most 3-pointers. Iowa State is with the lowest 3-point defense in Big 12 play. So I think Texas Tech with the third highest scoring rate, and Iowa State just being really bad at defensively blocking threes, and just how bad they already are without Halliburton. I think Texas Tech can just take advantage of Iowa State with Moretti and Ramsey from the outside. So they're just going to put up a lot of points here. So I like them to cover the, I think it's, 6 points right now?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at. So you still like Texas Tech here to beat Iowa State? That's the play?
Yeah, Texas Tech to beat Iowa State.
All right, and that's going to be an official play?
Yeah.
All right, so that's Texas Tech -6?
Yep.
All right. We've got some goals that showed up. We had Burnley. They took off the Bournemouth goal, but Burnley scores right after. They're up 2. That looks like that's going to come in. Hopefully, Charlton's scoring here, making it 2-1. Don't there. We lost a goal from Mönchengladbach. That's kind of a weak handball. We've got everybody tied in the Scottish Premier League. Clausen's scoring, but of course they're playing Pribham. They suck. One of the games I was looking at, what is with this? FSU -1.5 at NC State. I know NC State have it, but you won last week versus Duke. But Duke looked completely lethargic, and I got killed from.
But they don't notice that. That's more of an overreaction to that, to NC State.
a 26% the 3-point shooter goes 7 for 8, including a 50-footer. I mean, at that point, I was like I said before when we talked about NC State, Markel Johnson's the key, but he was going off in that game, and I can't see them continuing that. I just can't. Florida State is by far the better team. They have a lot more people. Duke was definitely shorthanded, played shorthanded that game. I've watched this Duke team enough, and I haven't watched them with who's the other guy? Wendell Brown, Wendell something. The other kid that got hurt.
Yeah.
The
no, you're right.
Wendell something.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
But I haven't seen them completely with him on the field. But teams still have this team in the Final Four and the Elite Eight. I think they have zero chance. Vernon Carey's great down low, but he's got the same work ethic as Zion Williamson. He takes forever to get down there. There's no pep in his step at all. What it was, Winston Cassius Winston. Yeah. Cassius Winston is a pure slasher. I would let him shoot from outside all day long. I question how they're outside shooting in any game except for Jones and the one kid hurt, but he was terrible in the last game. So I don't know. I don't see Duke going far. I think they're going to be the most overrated team in the tournament.
Going that far either.
That's a self-pass. That's a self-pass. I agree with the Gladbach guys. They took a shot. It went off the defender. The defender just passed it back to the goalie, and the goalie picked it up. That should have been a penalty. He can't pick it up. He had to kick it there. I'm taking Florida State. Official line, -1.5. I've taken them before, but that's going to be an official play for me. Let me add that to our list here. Why is where was the other game that I Kentucky, Florida?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, Florida's been honestly they've been one of the most disappointing teams in the nation. I think they've just been wildly inconsistent. But I guess that also happens too when you're playing. It's just Blackshear and a bunch of freshmen. But I just don't trust Florida being so young and going into Kentucky, into the Rupp Arena. I just wouldn't trust them in a spot like this to cover. What is it? Is it still 5 or is it up now to 7?
4.5.
Oh, it's 4.5. Okay.
Going the other way.
Oh, it's going the other way. I just, the only thing I could think that Florida has on their side is that, Blackshear is fresh. He only played 12 minutes in their last game because he got into foul trouble. So he was sitting for most of that game. But, if Florida's won 3 in a row and 5 of their last 6, so maybe I think with this price that the market is catching up to Florida, where they're saying, okay, Florida is, 4.5 or 5. But that line would have been more if Florida had, they had back-to-back losses instead. I guess my point is that Kentucky's only a 5-point or 4.5-point favorite at home after going on the road to LSU and winning. I'm guessing that this line is more in favor of Kentucky because of that. They went on the road to LSU, they won that game, and now you're only making them a 4.5-point favorite to Florida at home. And I get it. Florida has also won 5 of their last 6, but again, they've just been too inconsistent. They have too young of a team to go into Kentucky's court and win that game, or to even I think come anywhere near them. I think Kentucky covers that 4.5.
Yeah, I think the line's too low. I'm not that high on them to sit there and think that they're gonna play with Kentucky. I think this is the time Kentucky gets better. They always get better headed in the tournament. Holy shit.
The only other thing though is that where I could see this is I was actually looking at a stat and Kentucky actually.
Sorry to interrupt 1 second. Hoffenheim scores. We're at 1-1. The only good news is they put 7 minutes of extra time.
So anything can happen in 7 minutes.
Anything. Well, we got 5 minutes left. This is definitely going to probably be reviewed because I think he's offsides. I think he's clearly offsides. So right on the first tip goes. He's there. He's past the defender in the second one. Yeah, this is definitely going to go VAR. I think he's offsides. I don't think it's a question of handball. I think he's offsides. How is this not being looked at? By the time the guy strikes the ball, his front shoulders pass the other guy, which makes him offsides. Nope, they count the goal. Odd. All right. All right, so we're at 1-1 in that game, which really sucks. Sheffield Wednesday scored because Birmingham still can't play any defense. Sorry to interrupt. So you're on Kentucky in this. That's a lean -4.5, or are you taking that straight?
You know what? I'm going to take that straight, Kentucky -4. The more that I talk about it, the only thing that concerns me, and I'll throw this out there because when I was looking at the games last night, is that Kentucky has the 51st adjusted efficiency at home. So they really bad. They shoot really badly at home. Florida does have the highest 3-point scoring percentage rate in the SEC. So they've got it going with threes, which is why they've won 5 of their last 6 games. But it's just tough to trust, Mike White versus Calipari in the coaching. And I think in a game that's 4.5 points, give me the better coach and give me the better team at home. So I like Kentucky there.
Yeah, definitely. Think that's definitely has a chance there in Kentucky. Oh, this Gladbach, this thing's gonna piss me off. You had the game won. Oh, we're down to 2 minutes left. Not only that, we got Hoffenheim with a free kick, so they're gonna walk around and stand around and.
They should penalize people for that or something. Yo, Burnley 2-0. Boom.
Yeah, we talked about that. The Burnley one's going to come through. This Gladbach one's definitely not.
Damn it. Hold on.
Unless we can get.
Oh, Sheffield United didn't come through, right? We're done with that one?
No, that's still playing.
Oh, it's still playing. Right.
We're at a 1-1 game. We still got 20 minutes left.
Okay.
We've got plenty of time on that.
The other game that's out there is LSU and South Carolina.
LSU and South Carolina. What's the line on that?
Trying to. I was actually looking it up right now.
I was going to talk about Pittsburgh, Virginia.
I hate both of those teams, but I was going to leave the Pittsburgh to Twatty here.
I will, but we're waiting for Twatty to come on, and he apparently has lost his place. He's like the puppy that lost his way. Sorry, that's an Adam Sandler thing.
The LSU South Carolina game is a 1-point game, and it's the thing is, like, LSU plays no defense. Like, they're absolutely lazy in that category. They're really athletic, but they don't play any defense at all. If you watch their games, they just there's this one problem that they have, and that's why, like, I think, like, that's why this whole season I've been saying that they really aren't as good as, like, what their record had shown before, was just because their defense is horrible. Like, they're not going to do anything if in the tournament with that bad of a defense. But they've gone. I wasn't looking at a side in this. Although if you wanted to pick a side, I would probably pick South Carolina as the home dog because they are 8-3 straight up and they're 9-2 against the spread in their last 11. But I was looking at more of the over because when I was looking up the numbers last night, LSU has had 11 overs in their last 14, and I think it was South Carolina has gone over in I forgot the number. It might have been 7 of their last 8 games. So both of these teams have gone over in a majority of their games. And now that they're coming together, LSU has a horrible defense. I think this one would probably go over. The number was 155. I was hoping that it would come out at 152 or 151, but I think still at 155, this one will be a high-scoring game between both of them. So I would lean to the over in that. It's not an official pick, but if somebody wanted to pick a side here, lean South Carolina. If you wanted to go with a total, I would go with the over for that game.
South Carolina over, dead thing. Okay. Oh, sorry, that Gladbach game. 90-second goal. You've controlled the whole game. You missed a penalty. You had a goal. That was taken away. And then, of course, Leeds finally scores, which is kind of what I thought was going to happen, which is why I was trying to get them live on a 0-0 lineup. Oh, that's just killer. I thought I was getting ready to have a very nice day on that Gladbach. I was looking at worse for a push. Oh, killed. All right, we got a rebound. We'll come back. It's just one game.
That Crystal Palace plus 120 was sick live.
Yeah, not too sick. I'm rooting for a Newcastle goal. Sorry to burn your 120, but I'm rooting for a goal and I'll win because, like I said, I was expecting draw.
I'll cash out. Hold on 1 second. Keep going. I just got to take call.
Newcastle, I wouldn't cash out, and they're kind of toothless. Let me see how the pace of that game's going. They are dead even in shots on goal, though, in the second half. A similar type game. So we're looking at that. Sheffield United, it would be nice for them not to play for a draw. Hull goes over 2.5. Who knew? Aberdeen, Ross County is still at 1-1. Let's look at the Sheffield. Let me see what I can get on Sheffield United here to win. Damn, the books are still way favored. You're getting a draw no bet for Sheffield United at minus 286. The draw is minus 182, so they're not expecting. That's where the books think they have the goals that have scored in this game, and that's it. You get some championship goals. We've got Barnsley getting their first goal of the game, and then we've got Preston, which we already talked about, up 2-1. They're a team on the rise, especially in that championship. Oh, I'm still reeling from this Gladbach loss. That just sucks. Moving on, let's look at what about this. Where was the game? Illinois, the Loyola game. Loyola, Chicago, Murray State. Pick them. Any look? Shocks, you're not. Shocks, can you hear me? Yeah, Killer, we'll have Twatty on in the future, definitely when baseball comes around. All right. Oh, he's on the phone. Okay, that's what it is. Thank you. Thank you, Yellow. All right. While he's doing that, let me look at some soccer plays. I'm on small. I'm taking a Standard Liège. Those of you who tailed the Wolfsburger game, Tyrol actually just scored. They're down 1-0. Wolfsburger's not as generally as good on the road. Standard Liège and Antwerp. Antwerp still has a bunch of guys out. Apari's the main guy that they look for. He's one of the guys that basically I look to see if he's playing. He's been out for a while. Standard Liège won the game versus Club Bruges, which was a surprise to me. This is a 4 versus 5 game. I think it's going to be very close to the vest. The fact that it's in Standard Liège is where I'm actually kind of leaning. Standard Liège, but they sold a bunch of guys, so I am on it as part of a parlay. I'm not on it on a regular bet. That's kind of the look that I have. There's nothing else I am looking at in the French league. Toulouse seems to beat Lille all the time. I'm not sure. Leipzig, I think, is almost kind of a trap. I'm waiting for the lineup to see what they're going to roll out here today. They came over, obviously, getting the big win in Champions League, which we were on. It's definitely going to help them out. We got some Mexico late games, which started. I'll probably be on Club America late. There also take this time to discuss some XFL. XFL has been cashing definitely well. Waiting for some lineup things. I can't give you my Houston play because I gave it as a premium play. But I will give you my other games that I like. I believe Murray is out. I can double check that, but with Murray out, I don't like the over in the Houston game. I am looking at this Dallas-Seattle game. This is where me and KG differ. KG is on Seattle. I believe it's 3.5, 4. I like the Dallas Renegades here as a solid quarterback play. Landry Jones is throwing. He can't run at all, but he's throwing for almost 300 yards every game. Dallas was one of the preseason favors to win. I don't think Seattle's that good. I just think they played a Tampa Bay team without their quarterback to get their first win last year. I think Dallas is the better team. I think they come into Seattle and win. The third game is this Battlehawk versus Guardian game versus New York and St. Louis. The problem is the number of points. Last time I looked at it, was 10.5. That is a shitload of points for an XFL game. I mean, I don't know anybody who's there. And then the fact that I look, St. Louis and LA are very similar teams. I see them about 17, 18 points a game. The fact that this Guardians team is not really good, but they did beat Tampa. Well, okay, but Murray had 300 yards, but just couldn't score. Yeah, there's no Murray, no Drysdale for Tampa Bay. That's why I don't like the over. Guardians, St. Louis, like I said, that 10.5 points. I go back and forth. That's what really kills me. Trying to find if there was anything else out there on this game. I actually probably lean St. Louis under 10, but over 10.5. You almost got to take the Guardians here. The only problem, they're the only team that have lost 5 wide receivers. So a couple of their guys they're playing are really basically we're bagging groceries. West Brom gets a red card just because they want to make it interesting. Right there, Aberdeen, Ross County still stuck at 1-1. So Burnley's up 2-0. That looks like that's going to come in. Last game is at DC versus LA. I think DC is probably the best team in this league. They're the only team that are doing on the offense and the defensive end side of the ball. Malachi Dupree is the only question whether he's actually going to play. He did get in a limited practice. I believe he went to LSU. Former good player there. He's one of the guys that they kind of look at, but with Cardell Jones in there, the question is on this game is the number of points at 8.5. I am on DC minus 8.5. I think you can definitely look to go under in the St. Louis Battlehawk game. The problem is the lines really kind of changed this week. We're not getting the 47s and 48s and 49s we were seeing. We're seeing the 40s, 42s, 43s. So the book is really trying to stop. Looking at the thing, I would go under in Tampa Bay. I'd actually lean to go under in Dallas. Really small New York Guardians, Bayhawks, I'd go under. That's the problem. You have an under 40 and you're giving me 10 points. You either think the one team is really not showing up at all, or that's there. So I mean, I look at that game, and that's why I take at 10.5. I would take the Guardians under 10. If you can get, I'll take St. Louis. It's probably a game I'll take the Guardians pregame and then probably St. Louis halftime. And we already talked about I'm on the DC Defenders minus was 8.5. Looks like the lines moved to 9.5. But if it gets above 10, there's not a team in the league I'll take above 10 and 10 goals, 10 points in this game. We did get some goals in the championship game. Swansea Huddersfield decided to try to go over in 5 minutes because that's essentially what they had done. They had 1 goal in the first half and then 2 goals in the last 5 minutes. So that game brings that game to over 2.5. Not anything I was on, but just kind of letting know. Crystal Palace, Newcastle looks to be good. I'm on City -1 at 12:30.
Ouch.
Yeah, I love Eli Rogers. Eli Rogers, I'm surprised, did not find a home in the NFL. I thought he'd be a decent slot receiver for somebody. West Brom, even with the red card, decided to score. Makes it 3-0. So there clearly was the better side. The over 2.5 cashes personally too, so that's nice to see. Kind of needed that after that terrible Mönchengladbach, which basically ends their chances of any chance competing for the title. It just they won't be able to recover from that. Finally got the Leipzig lineups out. It's interesting. They're going with 3 up top. With 3 up top, I like this Leipzig lineup. Upamecano, who is probably the greatest MLS transport ever to play, is back and starting at center back. I'll go Leipzig as official play. Leipzig money line. So I'll add that to there if you're not looking at.
Lay the wood.
Yeah. We do have a red card possibility in the Southampton game, so it could be a 10-man situation for like 5 minutes. Sean, anything else on soccer we're looking? And they're saying no red card. Okay.
Well, there's 3 games in basketball that I just want to cover just for anybody who's listening. Just give my take on it, and then if maybe where I lean, and if somebody else is looking at it too, maybe it'll help them make their decision. BYU Gonzaga. I know we didn't fully get to talk about it. I just BYU's given Gonzaga trouble in the past. But if you look at the way Gonzaga played, not against San Francisco, I know everybody keeps bringing up San Francisco, but I think that was more of a look-ahead spot. I think Gonzaga was looking more towards this game, and then at halfway point, they realized they're like, shit, we still have 20 minutes left and we're down by 9. We have a basketball game to play, and then they turned it on. They came back. But if you look at the game before that against St. Mary's, they came out and they made 15 of their 16 of their first 15 of the 16 first shots, and they put up 90 points on St. Mary's. So I'm not in a hurry to bet against Gonzaga. But BYU has been playing well. 4 of their losses were without Childs. They played San Diego State tough in the beginning of the season. They had some OT losses, a couple of their, I think a majority of their, a couple of their losses are from overtime, which I always say is a coin flip anyway. But they really haven't had any bad losses, anybody who's blown them out or beaten them really bad. They're on a 7-game winning streak. I mean, so is Gonzaga, even longer than that. If you were to look at what their strengths are, BYU is number 1 in the nation in 3-point shooting. They got TJ Haas and Toulson that can stretch the defense. And from that aspect, Gonzaga does give up the 5th highest 3-point scoring rate in their conference. So that's the only place where I think BYU has the advantage here is from the 3-point line. Gonzaga has the size advantage in the paint. BYU has given up the 15th most 2-point shooting rate in college basketball. So, Gonzaga with size definitely dominates the inside and the glass. For me, I would have to get like 8 or 9 points to go against Gonzaga. But it's not enough for me if I'm getting only 4.5 points. Gonzaga it's going to be for me. And I actually think that the over is going to hit this time, Sean. I know the past couple times we've gotten kind of screwed on it, but I think the over this time is going to hit. It all depends if BYU gets
the over's been hitting.
When
When I took the under, it was there.
Wait, when? Yeah. No, last time the over didn't hit.
Yeah, well, no, it didn't hit versus no, that wasn't even close. Yeah, for San Fran it didn't, but it did hit on last Saturday when we took the under.
Against Mount St. Mary's, yeah, or not Mount St. Loyola, or whoever it is, yeah. Hey, Twani.
Yeah, I definitely like that Gonzaga look on my parlays. That's what I'm stacking everything against today. It's just boom, 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 Gonzaga. Hopefully we'll in the end, and then I'll be able to take one BYU, or it's either take money home or lose nothing kind of deal. We did get another goal with Burnley. That game's over. Burnley's going to win 3-0. So that's there. Couple games, we did get a stop, and I think we got a Ross County goal, baby. If you took the beer money, you just made dinner. All right, there we go. 2-1, Ross County, plus 2,400. 2,400. I hope you tailed me. I hope at least one person in the chat was smart enough to tail me on that. It's really going to kill my Scottish parlay, but I will take the plus 2,400 and have no issues about it. We still got a couple minutes, but Aberdeen's been completely toothless. So Yella's in there. Twatty is now sideways. We got his head. Everybody turn your head to the side to be able to look there. Twatty's coming into us. Oh, come on. He dropped because we made fun of him. All right. Okay.
All right, so the other game is UNLV at San Diego State. San Diego State has covered 6 straight games. The last one they didn't cover was against UNLV, and I think UNLV lost that one 71-67. I remember actually reading somewhere they were saying that Las Vegas is like the only place where people will cheer for their like home team to lose, like when they lose, because like I guess in that game supposedly the line was something around it had to be like around 7 or 6 points, and that last second 3 by UNLV, although they lost, everybody covered that game. So like the whole crowd, like everybody in the audience just like was rooting, was like all happy and everything, although their home team lost, but everybody covered the ticket. But yeah, the Rebels, they were great the other night against Colorado State. I watched that game late. If they can shoot like that the same way they did, then they can beat anybody. They're like I would consider if they could shoot the way they did against Colorado State and they could play defense like that, they're definitely a dark horse in their conference. But the tough thing about taking them in this spot is like they don't play consistently, right? Like they played really good the other night, but then, week in and week out, you get up and down performances from them. But they actually do have the highest offensive rebounding rate in the conference. And San Diego is actually given up the 4th highest 2-point scoring rate. So that leaves it open for Bryce Hamilton on UNLV, to do what he was doing the other night, which is dropping in pull-up jumpers. And I don't think Nate, what's his name? Nate Mensa for San Diego State. I think he's not playing. So if he's not playing, that's pretty big. He's a big part of their team. So it's hard for me to put my money on UNLV just because of their inconsistency. But if you wanted to bet this game, I would look at the first half, perhaps. A lot of times you see like the underdog teams like this where they think they can, they can beat these big schools, or maybe they think like like San Diego State doesn't take them seriously, and they come out the first half and just kind of like punch them in the mouth. So, if you wanted to play this game, I would recommend playing the first half UNLV spread. That's just a lean for me. San Diego State does get out to slow starts, but I wouldn't be surprised if UNLV actually covered this full game, though, with like a last-second 3-point shot or something.
Yeah, I could definitely kind of see that. I mean, it's the 11.5 is not what I like. I mean, to me, I'm waiting to this probably live, see if there's any live there.
I think that's more if it was 7 or 8, I would take San Diego State. If it gets up to like 15 or 16, I would take UNLV as a live play.
Yeah, it looks like Crystal Palace,
Arizona. Go. They're gonna win. Yes.
Oh, sorry. It looks like Crystal Palace is gonna win. They're just kicking around the ball right now, so they should just blow the whistle soon here. Sheffield United is doing nothing. We can't even get a shot. Don't go back. As soon as you go back, the ref's gonna blow the whistle. Come on, allow the attack. You're at 93 minutes. You at least got to get a shot on goal. Stop waiting for the perfect shot. Get a cross in, something. Nope. That's going to be out of bounds. They're going to blow the whistle. Still in. We're past the 93rd minute. Come on, get something in the box. Too far. Maybe it'll bounce down. That'll be it. No, ref is still holding on to the whistle. Come on, fight for it, sharp. Oh, I don't know what that was. That's it. That's the final 1-1. We lose it. Newcastle gets a red card just at the end of the game, just to make it fun. Birmingham scores. That's the game we should have been on in the over, besides the West Brom game. That's 3-3. They score in the 92nd minute. Marseille has a hit there. Ross County wins. The plus 2,400 comes in. We're still trying to figure out what happened to Twatty. We had Twatty sideways, and then we just didn't have Twatty again.
I should have put $100 down on that plus 2,400.
Yeah.
It was like last night in the chat. I was with Locke, and somebody had commented. I guess they had won all their picks. It was like 3 or whatever they had picked, and then the comment was like, "Shit, I should have parlayed all them." And then like Locke pops in, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "You should parlay them whenever you win." He's like, "But if you had lost, you wouldn't have said that at all."
Yeah, that's always the way it is. Burnley wins. Yeah. That game's over. We're getting ready to kick off here. NBA action. We got some interesting NBA. If you followed like my early looks yesterday, you made some money.
Yeah, Sean's been on fire with the NBA. He's been on fire with that.
And granted, we had like one of the gifts of the century in that Pelicans, which I was KC specialing that. But yeah, like there, you get Boston first half, you get Boston full game. For them to come back and actually win that game was big. But let's look what we got in the NBA tonight. We've got some interesting games that set up. You got the Sacramento and the Clippers team. Not loving the 9.5. We'll probably wait to get that live. This is basically going to be my early looks piece. Crystal Palace wins. That game's over. Brooklyn, Charlotte. I like Brooklyn here. I like Brooklyn only -4. I know it's on the road, but I like the way that they played versus Philly. I think they're definitely going to come out here. Only giving up 4 points. I like that. Dallas at Atlanta. We took Dallas last night -4 on a back-to-back. They covered against Orlando pretty easy. Southampton scores in the 95th minute. They're going to win this game 2-0. Over 240.5. I liked it when it was 238, 239. Over 240 on a back-to-back for Dallas. is possibly an under. The only problem is Atlanta plays absolutely no defense. I will probably start this game off with an under 240.5 and kind of take it live, bet it from there. Phoenix, Chicago. Chicago is packed this in. I'm sorry. I'll give me Phoenix in the -2. Cleveland, Miami. 13.5 with this Miami team that doesn't like to blow out anybody versus a Cleveland team that doesn't like to score. But except second half, the Wizards are the one actually that fell off and they were able to get a score back here as well. Then we've got the Sixers in Milwaukee. Milwaukee team beat them on Christmas Day. Then they came back and I think they beat them again. Simmons is probably going to play this game. I'd just go with the over 226. I wouldn't probably stay on the side. Maybe Bucks first half if you wanted to look, but I wouldn't lay 8.5 right now on the Bucks versus Philly because Philly could come and make this a game. Houston, Utah. This is the makeup last second shot for one of Utah's only Houston's losses with small ball lineup. So this will be interesting. This will be the first team that is seeing small ball lineup for the second time. Utah is also off on a back-to-back. I would lean here the over, and I would take the Rockets -2. Revenge game. Just as long as everybody's in this game, that would be my lean. What's up, Mr. Twatty Latte, who's once again moving?
What's up, guys? Hey, you better not let anyone troll me.
I was about to troll you again, and then I said you left like Max. That was going to be my thing. You took your ball and you went home.
Don't let anyone troll me.
All right. Anyways,
what a bitch! What a bitch! Hey, what's up, boys?
Here's the one thing I'm going to defend. I didn't have a great day either. So if someone got me on the wrong side, especially in my free plays, my premium plays were hotter than hell. So I could see how someone would have the same thing. That's the only thing. I'm going to take the high road here. But yes, I know you're giving me that face right now.
Sean, under no scenario could I ever see you acting that immature.
Correct.
But anyway.
Yeah,
there's levels to this. There's one thing to be mad and be like, okay, I'm going to jump off the stream and cool down. And then I'm a complete little bitch like that. So, but anyway, these guys are killing it. 6-0 in the premium plays, but I'm not here to talk about the premium plays, but they're killing it. But everyone in the Discord is killing it. So you can come over and just join the free Discord and get plenty of great plays. But these guys were 6-0 yesterday, thanks to me not giving a loser. So I just wanted to shout them out. But so we got I put in some work on my two favorite teams, Pitt and West Virginia. Probably going to have some plays on both of those. Have you guys broke those down?
We went to Pittsburgh, and then we said there, my first initial lean, these two teams played like 2 weeks ago, right? Or a week ago? They played really recently. And I thought it went over, and that would be my first initial thought. I thought they played.
I think that's inaccurate, Sean.
Okay.
You're running a show here. You got to be better than that.
Yeah, the besides the 75 soccer games,
just fucking with you.
5 XFL games, I've got to make sure I understand who Pitt and Virginia played the last week. And I'm still checking that. I think I'm right though.
No, I don't think they've played yet. I think they didn't they play Virginia Tech? Not Virginia.
Okay. What was the game I was thinking? Okay, yeah. No, what was the game I was thinking of? All right, never mind. Yeah, okay, you are right. I am wrong. All right, what's the play? I see over 110 plus 2.5 for Pittsburgh, so -2.5 for Virginia.
A couple things. I like the over. I know that's, but in fairness, I got it when it came out at 108. So if it's 110, 2 points in this game could mean a lot. I mean, we're talking about two really good defensive teams. So I don't know, maybe a half a unit at 110, but I got it at 108, which I really like. I mean, Pitt's been increasing their offense, and so has Virginia. They're better offensive teams than they usually have been. And their defense has slipped a little bit. Virginia's always number one in the country in defense. That's terrible. But Pitt's defense has slipped over the last 4 or 5 games as well. So their offense picking up a little bit, the defense slipping a little bit. I think the 108 is a good play. The 110 is probably still kind of in the ballpark for maybe a half a unit or something. What did you guys think on that game?
Yeah, my lean was the over, and my lean was Virginia. Virginia's starting to go off. If you haven't looked at they've won 6 of their last 8. 6 of the last 8 have went over. Well, one of those games was an overtime. 2 of those games were overtime games. But I think they're scoring more. I think this Pittsburgh team finds ways there. I think this is a game for Virginia who if you're looking at, once again, getting in the conversation in a really weak ACC is going to be tough, especially for them. I know they're the defending champs, 19-7, but the ACC is really, really weak. If you get another team from the Big 12 that's 18-9 or something like that, or 20-9 and similar records, I can see issues with that. I think Virginia wins this game.
Yeah, I agree. And that was going to be I hate doubling up on a game because if you read it wrong, you're down 2 units. But of course, if you read it right, you're up basically 2 units. But I'm with you. I like Virginia. Are you telling me that Virginia is not a bucket better than Pitt? I fail to believe that. What's crazy, though, is if you break down the lineups, Pitt, I think, has a better lineup. I think they have better talent, 1 through 6 or 7. But I just think Virginia's, season tested. I just think they're a better team. So I have Virginia as well. I agree with that.
Yeah.
What have you guys kicked around on WVU?
I don't think we had an actual play on it. I know we talked about it where we said they're better than the 4.5 points in TCU. So I was kind of shocked that it was only 4.5.
Yep. That's one of my plays as well. Now West Virginia is not as good a road team as they are a home team, and it's not even close. At home, they're just a bunch of dogs. They gave up 14 points in the second half last week. I mean, at home, they're incredible. They could beat anybody. But defense will travel. So in TCU, it's not a good offensive team at all. So my 2 plays in this game are WVU covering, and then I'm taking the team total under for TCU. This is a bad offense. And West Virginia is the number 1. I don't know if they're number 1 or number 2. Either number 1 or number 2 defensive team in the country against a bad offensive team. And TCU is not putting up 60 to 65 points against anyone, much less the first or second best defense in the country. So I think the team total may have been what the hell was it? Was it 62 or 61? What's the game total?
The game total. Sorry, I'm on the Virginia game. 1 second.
Is it 127?
I thought it was higher than that. I thought it was. Let me look 1 second. No. So we're talking TCU, West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
This is the world's worst site to find team total.
130 is the game total, and then
West Virginia is 67.5. So somewhere
right,
66 to 68.
Yeah, so they're 60. So what? They're 63 is the implied team total for TCU, something like that.
Yeah, 62.5, 63. Yeah. And like you were saying, Twatty, I agree with you because I was saying earlier, I was like TCU is. I looked it up. They're 0-10 against the spread against defenses only allowing 64 points or fewer. So there you go. They're not. Yeah, they're not going to cover.
It'd be a shock for me if they were to get to 63 points. Because they're not getting to 63 points against average defensive teams.
Right.
Much less when WVU locks you down. I mean, you ain't scoring, and so. Those are going to be my plays. Those are actually my premium plays that I'm going to give them out to everybody. So, those are the 4 plays I like. And I'll look at the rest of the card. I'm going to look at that Gonzaga BYU game because those are probably two of my favorite teams to watch. So I'll probably have something on that a little bit later. And Arizona too. I'll probably have something on Arizona. So, what'd you guys come up with the Gonzaga BYU? Have you got there?
Yeah, we talked about Zags.
Yeah, I mean, I just said that I can't take with a line that low. I can't go against Gonzaga. Again, like the only time I would take BYU is if I was getting like 7 or 8 points. But I think the line was at 4, 4.5. I don't know if I can take BYU with that. I just think Gonzaga has a size advantage to them. They also are a better 2-point shooting team. BYU, the only thing they have going for them is that they're the number 1 team in 3-point shooting in the nation, and Gonzaga is like the 5th. They're like the 5th best. Like the 5th best defense against 3-point. Yeah, against 3-point shooting. So unless BYU gets hot from the 3, I don't see them staying with Gonzaga.
Yeah, the other thing, the revenge factor is the only thing BYU's got going because they blew them out of the building the first time.
Yeah,
I guess I'm a little. I guess I think it's going to be a little closer than maybe you guys think. I mean, I have Gonzaga at about an 8-point favorite on a neutral floor. So that would put it at what, like 3 or 4 at BYU. So that's pretty much the number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much on the number. Yeah, it's pretty much on the number. So it's 4.5.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm going to probably end up staying off of it, but I'm going to look at it and see if I can find something in the team totals or the total. I think the total has crept up to like 160. Man, I just in heavyweight type games, and it's been proven all year when you have 2 good teams slugging it out, it's almost always going under. Almost always. So that seems like a lot of points. So I'm going to look at that as well and see if maybe we can get it under 160 or something in that game. Even though I know those 2 teams can score, but I don't know. I'm going to have to look at that one as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's some things still to kind of figure out, but yeah. I think they win the game. I don't think there's any question of that. What channel? Who's got the Kansas game? ESPN?
You remember what I talked about shot blocking there, Sean? There you go. Perfect example of it. Baylor went up. Kansas just blocked the shot.
Yeah, it's 5-2.
All right, boys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go. You guys are doing a great job, so keep it up.
Thanks, Tony.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah, we're going to go for probably load up here for another 15, 20 minutes, and that'll be it.
I gotta eat food right now. I haven't eaten breakfast or anything all morning.
Yeah, Kansas in trouble trying to score. Baylor. Why didn't he just lay it up? God, I hate that.
Oh,
let's go shoot. Let's go shoot at the 3-point line instead of just because should have went right to the hole and taken 2 points. They don't even get a shot up.
I think Kansas is going to be playing from behind, honestly, this whole game. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a better number.
Oh, nice. All right, there you go. 4 or 5. Now if they get a block here, come down, hit a 3, take the lead.
It's the only thing. I mean, we only need, for that low total, we only need 32 points by a 10-minute mark. I mean, that's we're definitely, I would think we're on pace for that.
Yeah.
And we're slightly off pace, but not that number of points is just a couple threes.
Yeah, the live total is still at 130 right now.
Yeah, I would assume that it's not going to be changing that much. I'm trying to get the Soccer 2-4, but it looks like the site crashed for a second. Oh, I do want to get some things in. Damn, not a great start to the morning. We're not too bad on our plays, but personally, not a great start to the morning. Locked in a
Yep,
lot. Locked in
nice.
a lot.
Kansas up now.
Yeah, 6-5. Whoa, yeah. Run. So many points are being scored.
Yes. All right, nice. All right, now Baylor missed it again. Kansas going down. Let's hope they score here. And that should put the lines ready at +1.5 for Baylor. But if we can get plus like 3 or 4, I would take that.
Yeah.
There it is.
Boom.
Ooh.
Big 3.
Oh, they took the line down now from me. They're like,
That's not happening.
they want you to bet the money line. They don't want you to bet the spread.
That's surprising. I mean, it's would sit there and say, yeah, this is all you should do. Added Houston -3.5 first half. Oh, that's not bad. I didn't look at that. That's definitely a good shot there on the XFL. Houston -3.5 first half. Yeah, I like that. I can go with that. I'm still making some NBA plays here before the lines move.
Huh, Baylor's still only +1.5. They're not budging.
Is everybody playing for the Clippers?
Some girl who gambles, she sent me a text message. She goes, thoughts, and it's Devin Booker to record over 2.5 made 3-point field goals and the Suns to win. I'm like, where did you find this? Why?
Better
I
line. Their player things. Those things are great. I take those all the time.
It's in DraftKings, but I don't know anything. Who's Devin Booker?
He's a shooting guard for the Phoenix Suns.
Is he gonna make over 2.5 3-point shots tonight?
Let me see what he's done.
Oh no, yeah, 3-point field goals. Yeah.
Let me see. The one cool thing with Bet Online, if you look at props, you click on the name, it gives you like the last 7 days what they did.
Okay.
So that's like a great thing to say. Okay, is he on par for this? Is he going to look like he's going to do this? Let's see, Phoenix. 3-point field goals made. All right, let's look at what we got. So Devin Booker, 3-point field goals made. He made 1 versus the Raptors, 2 versus the Warriors, 0 versus the Lakers, 3 versus the Nuggets, 4 versus the Rockets.
And who's he up against tonight? Who are the Suns playing?
Chicago. They suck on defense. So
So
it's a
I would say,
possibility.
yeah.
It's a strong possibility that he probably will. So we got Virginia -4.5. The total's up to 109.5, so no adjustment there. Kansas total's up to 132, so slight lean there. Kansas is at -1.5, so Baylor's at +125 with a 4-point lead. If we can get a 6-point lead and get +150, that's probably a way to take, and then just wait to come back on the other side.
Yep.
But when you do that, you gotta put out a lot more than what you wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if I can get Baylor at +3.5 or even +4, I would take that.
Damn, Virginia's already up to 113. Just waiting. 114.
I have 112.
Told you this one site sucks.
111 now.
I would love to get 1 and 11.
You're saying the over in 111?
Well, yeah, because I tried to get that twatty play in, but it rang right at 12:01 and said, nope, no chance. So
Yeah.
unless I get 110 or 111, and my look was 115 points. I just think it's too little points. I mean, I know Virginia's playing there. The game should be close. Yeah, every time it gets to 111 or 112, I think Pittsburgh will score. Azubuike tried to throw it down from 3 feet away and hit the front of the rim.
I saw that.
I will say, from a body motion, Kansas looks like they're have a lot more intensity than
Yeah.
Baylor does.
I was about to say the same too. I'm actually like, I know it's so early to call. I'm ready to call Kansas going to win this game. Like
Well,
they just look like they have a lot more energy. Yeah, like you said, they just look like they want it more.
Yep. Baylor's plus 150 now on the money line. That's your 150 if you want to take it, but I'm not so sure. I think you're going to get a better number pretty quickly right here.
Yeah,
With Kansas
I'm gonna-
basketball.
I'm gonna take the money line, but I might take a spread. Like I said, if I can get +4 or something with Baylor, I'll take +4. Make that. Nope, missed the shot.
Yep. Oh, that's what I wanted. Plus 111. Come on, go through. Even money. Go through.
Wow.
Damn it.
Damn, Baylor's coming back now.
It's 9-5. What do you mean they're coming back now? If you're worried about 9-5, they're coming back now.
There we go. 3 missed.
Wasn't even close. I will say, good old book of mine is still thinks the score is 9-5.
Right, I got Duquesne. Here we go. Wolford.
Is Okora playing for Auburn?
That's what I was trying to look up, but I can't. I'm looking on the ESPN app and I don't see the Auburn game. It's not even listed here. Oh, top 25 teams. That's right. They got knocked out.
Yeah, it's on CBS. Deep,
If you're
who hits absolutely nothing.
Auburn, Tennessee, CBS. Ooh, nice.
12-7 Kansas.
No, Caro's not playing for Auburn, so
All right.
Tennessee's
Come on.
going to hang around in this one.
Baylor's up to 3.5. Well, they might be up more, but my book still thinks the score is 9-7.
Mine says 3.5, 12-7 right now. If they don't make
That's
this
a terrible
shot,
shot.
yeah, that's a horrible shot. What was that?
You're
Foul.
fading away to the side. Virginia Pittsburgh's at 116. I think we missed it. I've tried it 3 times to try to get in when it's come down.
That's 115 now, yeah.
Yep. Okora's out. Thanks, Yellow. 12-12 in this Virginia Pitt game. All conferences. Marquette's down 3. We're looking around. I mean, I still think Kansas looks like they're definitely playing with more fire. So I still question, though, who is the go-to guy in Baylor when you need a bucket? Who is that guy? You got a bunch of guys who can score, but there's nobody who would sit there and say, I need a bucket at the end of the game. This is who I'm going to.
I think this is Baylor's problem. Has Baylor ever been down a great amount of points? I haven't watched many of their games, but have they ever been down by 10 points and had to have come back against a team, or have they relatively just pretty much led or been within a 2 or 3 points? So I think I don't think they've dealt with that adversity before, though, being down a good amount of points and then having to battle back. But
big 3 there by Baylor. It sucked because I was just about to take the 4.5.
It's I fucking hate about betting. And then my sportsbook makes you wait 5 seconds. So if the line changes within that, it's if I go to bet it and then they go on a fast rundown and they hit a basket and it's within 5 seconds, then it kicks it back to me and it says you have to
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what sucks. It should just be automatically just adjust it to what it is and give you 1 second. Do you want this? Yes. No. Okay. Boom.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. There's 14-12. Nice little run out.
Damn, I missed that 4.5.
Yeah, that was there for about a half second. That literally was there. This is like that was there
had it
just as long as this 110 was there for Pittsburgh. By the way, I think this 115 line that I have for this is probably too high. It's probably too low.
I'm showing 114 right now in my book.
Yeah, I know. I think you were going to get into 120s easily.
All right.
And we got 28 points scored right at the 10:55 mark. I mean,
Yeah, so
we're on
30,
pace
30,
at
that's
60, 60, yeah.
60, 120, yeah. I think right now, even if you were to take the over, if I were to take the over 114 right now, probably be a good bet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. Pittsburgh gives me 8. I'm going to take that. We're back to 130 in the Baylor game. Both games are identical, 16-12. Auburn's got a couple more minutes to get that identical 16-12 score.
Here's the issue. Kansas is one of the worst teams at free throw shooting. So, depending on how this game goes,
Yeah, every week you view that as a complete negative against them.
I do. I have to reinstate that in close games, but they haven't had any close games because they blow people out. But this is going to be a close game.
Yep. I'll give to everybody. I will be on Arsenal tomorrow. Arsenal money line. I'm going to take that at plus 108. I like that look. Give you a couple other soccer things just for being on the show late. Let me make sure that people possibly get some other things in. I've already got a bunch of things already for tomorrow that are set up. So let me see which of the ones I want. I was pissed the Chinese soccer league is still not playing soccer. Come on. There's nothing going on. You should definitely be playing soccer. Alberg Brøndby. I'm on the over in the Danish Superliga. I'm on the over 2.5 in that game. I'm on Wolves -1 in the Premier League. I'm on Parma draw double chance in that game. I'm on Inter -1. I know that's going to come as a shock to people. And of course, I'll be on my 2 Scottish parlays, Rangers and Celtic tomorrow. I've already mentioned Hetafe. I actually put that in the lineup. The game's not actually till tomorrow. There, St. Gallen Young Boys. I'm going to have a play on that in the premium play. So that should be good. Lots of good stuff. Hopefully we'll have some things out there and things will go well. I will be on Sydney FC tonight in Australian A-League. So Oklahoma State. What is up with Oklahoma State? I don't see them playing yet. Yeah, we went over OK State.
Yeah, we took Oklahoma.
Yeah, we took Oklahoma +1.5. That's my line for that.
Yeah, they're not playing at I think they're playing at 4 or something. 3.
Yeah, it's not till later. I think it's 2:00, but yeah. So we're gonna wrap up here probably around 12:30ish, just to see possibly any more live options we have. Live line on will be on for 10 hours if you want to hang out with the gens there. Definitely good solid thing for 10 hours. They may or may not have a college basketball expert on. Not sure. We'll find out. But that'll be interesting. But there's a fight cast on tonight. A couple of the guys that I'm trailing, which by the way has worked out really, really well for us. If you've taken our MMA picks that we not recommended, or basically said this is what we're taking because the guys we know and trust are taking. There has worked out really well for you, especially in the last couple fights, including last week, which I told you to take the 2 dogs in the last 2 fights, and both of them won. So both of them was good plus money, which, by the way, I don't even count in our record. My one guy that I was looking at, I know a lot of people were on Hooker, was one of the guys that my guy was on, and my buddy did just text me. Let me see who he is on. Wilder under, Felder under. Oh, he likes Wilder, the under, Felder, and the under. Those are his 4 plays.
Wilder, Felder, and it doesn't go the full way.
Yeah. One of the other guys I'm on again is a bunch of people are on Wilder. Obviously, Wilder money line is actually a pretty good line. I take Wilder. I think he has more ways to win the fight than Fury. Hooker money line, which is the complete opposite of my buddy, is what my other guy has. So take that.
Yeah, my guy has Hooker money line.
Yep. Michael Olek, whatever his freaking name is the other play that was on. I haven't looked at Jay's or Dave's plays to see what they like, but my other guy, where's my buddy? There he is. He likes 3 guys I've never heard of: Meek, Crute, and Riddell, whoever they are. So, again, like I said, we don't pretend to be MMA cappers out there. Do your homework, take a look at that. There's nothing I'm strong like I have been in previous weeks based on what my other guys were said, but I didn't do a lot of time capping those. We got a 16-13 game in Virginia, Pittsburgh.
16-15 game in Baylor. Well, 18-15.
1850 for Azubuike. Finally figured out he could do something other than dunk. We'd love Biller to take a line, then I'll immediately just take a quick money on the 2 plus 50, 150s. I'll be fine with the plus 150. Ooh. Big 3 by the big white guy.
It's always the white guy. You got to watch out for him outside on the 3.
So I was watching the Gonzaga game, and I wasn't meaning any disrespect, but I was like, throw it to the white guy. There was like one white, or one. Oh, no, that was the Notre Dame game. Because I basically sat there and said, yeah, you had the one guy, TJ, whatever his name, TJ Gibbs. TJ Gibbs was on the court, and 4 random white guys that I have no idea who they were. So I was like, throw it to the white guy because Gibbs was covered. He was the one with the ball, and I was like, yeah, all right. And my wife's like, you probably shouldn't say that. And so I was like, well, there's just 4 other white guys. I had no other guy who was there. Throw it to the one that was on the court. Yeah. Kansas Baylor's up to under 135 right now. So if you tail it over 129 or 130, you're still looking pretty good.
Yep.
Floppy hair dude gets into trouble. Oh, that's a terrible shot.
Oh, that almost made it.
Yeah, let's go in between the legs 3 times, and then let's shoot like a 24.
Azubuike's going to crash to the basket. No, he's setting a pick. All right, there he goes. Nice crashing right in.
That was an illegal screen. He jumped out right before he came.
There you go. And he's going to get
Azubuike, he's going to get the bucket. Yeah, they have no answer for that.
They can't. He's bigger than them. Bigger than all of them. They have no size on him at all.
Yeah, Kansas is at plus 120. I don't know why, because my line still thinks it's 18-18. Now it's at minus 120.
They should just do that every single play. They should just go to Azubuike because he's just got height and size on all those guys. They're not going to be able to stop him.
Who is our Adam Morrison lookalike here? Who's lately just dominating the ball? Let's see. By the way, he traveled. He traveled 4 times.
Did he?
He caught the ball. He changed his pivots on a little baby hop. Then he came down, a jump stop back, then adjusted his feet with another little tiny hop on that little move.
And then he threw the ball out of bounds.
And then he scored. I mean, it was like I was talking about Azubuike's duck, and when they came through, it was like, yeah, that was a clear travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's VAR for basketball and travels? There we go. Floppy hair again. Foul. Floppy hair got crushed. Yeah.
I mean, that guy made contact with him when he shot that 3. Like, had his little arm in his head. Should have fell backwards.
Dotson's upset that the other guy's scoring all the buckets. Where's the guy?
Oh.
Where's the Ajayi
or whatever? Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. Unless he's the guy who changed his hair.
Who's the bigger goat, Messi or
Abagji? I can't say his name. Marcus Garrett. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
22-18. Baylor's back to plus 140. Can't get the other side, and the total went down 4 points again. Terrible.
Yeah, it's like it's only plus 1.5 still though. Although I guess they're down by 4, so I guess it makes sense.
You sure no one's out for Marquette? They only put up 8 points in 8 minutes.
Let me go look at that game. I want to see who's starting for them.
And Howard's playing, but he's got 2 points.
Yeah, Mark. I hate the ESPN app, man. It's such a shitty fucking app. You'd think like a biggest company in the world would be able to program something, develop something better than this.
This Kansas Baylor game's a great game.
Oh, it's a great game. I know that's what I said. I was like, this is horrible for like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, this is the type of game you put on at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night on like Saturday. Where you're just like chilling on the couch, and get a beer. You just got done with dinner. Sit back and watch Baylor and Kansas.
Yeah, Tennessee's up on Auburn. The only question I have with Auburn again is, with Okoro out, can they win the game?
Yeah, that was the issue that we had mentioned before.
Yeah, you're basically putting everything on Austin Wiley and Samir Dowdy to score points, and right now Dowdy's not scoring points.
The same thing with Oregon, man. I mean, like without Pritchard, that team is done. He scored 31 of their 62 points the other night.
How long is he out for?
Well, he fouled out with like 4 minutes left in that game.
Oh, okay.
And then so he had to sit on the bench. He brought them all the way back to like 3, and then he fouled out. And then Arizona just pulled away from them. So,
KG and Rich put some XFL parlays in there. The only one I don't agree with is the Seattle one, but yeah.
Yeah, Yellow, Tennessee's up on Auburn. That's what we were saying before. If Okoro's out, then Auburn's pretty much stuck.
I mean, they still have players to win the game versus Tennessee, but it's
they do. Yeah, I'm not saying, but they won't blow them out. They'll probably win this game, but it'll probably be like 2 or 3 points. And if it was like 7, I think Tennessee's probably gonna cover or like hang around within like 7 points.
Yeah, I'm building a money line parlay. Oh, Robert Griffin III.
Where is he? No, he's
in Baylor because he went to Baylor. Baylor's only a Heisman Trophy winner.
Is he going to be playing in the XFL soon, probably?
Well, I mean, he's the backup quarterback for the Ravens. I think he signed a 2-year deal, so he's still there for another year.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. Sean, I got a live play.
Yeah, I'd say it's 12:30. Let's call it. Good show. Hopefully there. Sorry, hit the plus 2,400. You got to love that though.
Yeah, that was good.
So
good look on that.
That'll definitely look. So then we'll just hope the rest of our plays hit. Thanks for everybody for joining. Thanks for popping in. We did get a standard Liège goal, which is one of the plays that I said I was on. I thought that had value. So finally we get a goal there. That's 1-0. That's good. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. See you same time next week. See you. Bye.